1% left. Like if this breaks, here, we'll just do this together. If this breaks 178, then we can get it. Our stop on this was 1.8. Like when we took these trades, our stop was this high right there. This one was light, then we saw it run up. 180 right there, 180.60 was our out for these reloads. So that trade right there on the reload was 60 cents worth of risk to give us $3 on the low end. So we'll stop out of this if we take out 178. And if we do, like I want this thing to take out 178. That would be awesome because right now, man, we have a hell of a position on the futures and we just getting ready to get that 38 level there. So far, so good here. As anything you want to say before we wrap this thing up?
Well, Bitcoin's trying to break that. It hasn't done it yet, but we have this consolidation break, which probably will happen in the first couple of minutes. I'm sure Joe's probably looking at IBIT as well, as he usually does. Small cappers with Sharif. We'll be back to see how the meatballs do in about an hour or so. And then back at 2 o'clock at the end of the day, another good session, another green one to start the month.
Yeah, man.
But there's a lot of time left in the day. Remember, everything turned on its head at 3:10 yesterday just because of one headline from Iran. So keep your ear to the ground. That's what we're here for. Dare's at the desk.
Stay long.
Go get them.
Yeah.
Boom! 大家好，他的名字是 Joseph， 我叫 Sharif， 很高兴认识你，美女人。Boom! All right, I did it better this time. We're gonna have a different statement tomorrow, Joey. We can't do the same one every time, my boy. All right, let's go. Shout out to Gray Stone Recording, Others Inc. We got Hangry Wife. She needs to eat, bro. Shout out Professor, I love that. Joey gets distracted. We got Stuart D, Nikki P, Jesse Lojo. Who is this? Azur. We got Disco 22. Emilia, we got Hands, Christmas, Rex Banner, shout out to Pablo, and Danny Day Trizzle. Love that, man. Tama Journey, Ronaldo, Brown Lightning. Premier League on today, boys and girls, too. Liverpool plays. Clark, Buffalo Soldier, Green, Day, D, Mike PD, Rider. We got Wyatt. We got Alan Blomenauner, I think. I killed that. I'm sorry. P-Mac. Blown Cop Car, Randy. That's the name of the... Yeah, it's not working. I don't know, Adam. Shout out to David the Red, Lavish, Oshiri. We got Robert Lewis and MF Dangerous, man. HP Motor Cars. Yeah, so I see you, my man. We got Mosh Palmore, Dexter Smith, and Banana Candy. You like banana candy? I like bananas. I don't know about banana
the hard
candy.
ones, right?
The hard one. I don't know.
No, I'm not a really big fan of those.
You're not a big fan.
Do you like corn, candy corn?
Candy corn.
Yeah.
I'm
really
agnostic. I don't hate it. I don't
love it.
You like
Tootsie Rolls?
I do like Tootsie
Rolls.
Wow. Yeah.
All right.
Do you like caramel?
I love caramel.
All right, my man. There we go. We can agree
I
on something.
Caramel,
all right, guys. Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody is hanging tight, man. There's a lot of red in the market, but as you heard the Katina man say when he was closing out the show there, stay long. So we're going to be looking, of course, for some longs, and we're going to keep an eye out. There he is with the idea. Shout out to the man. Clearly, somebody taking long on this type of day, you clearly got to know what you're doing. Katina man does. So, Katina man. All right, good morning, Joey. How's everything going?
It's all right, man. We're having a good time. Just ride the wave, as Katina man. We'll hit this for my boy over there. Oh. We got that one going on, and then we'll hit this one for my boy as well, too, because that's the Steve Austin 316. All right, guys, let's get right down to the nitty-gritty and see what we had going on. Man, oh, man, SE. Talking with Obi in the chat here, or not in the chat, just on the side. And essentially what we have, what happened? What do you do?
The comments when you were talking. Go,
what do you
go
say? All right,
nothing
man.
about you, clearly.
All right, Stone Cold, man. All right, Katina man doing his thing. He's off to the gym now. All right, we were short in the pre-market SE from $89 roughly, and then it tanks all the way to 78. Did we participate in that? No, we got a point move. I'm like, let me take some off, and I wasn't happy about my size either. Then we get stopped out, break even, tanks out of the open. And I'm like, oh my Lanta. We take another attempt, we take some off, comes back, and then takes an additional leg lower. So I'm like, okay, we're taking a couple scalps here and there. We're starting 2 for 2, not bad. Let me go more size on that third attempt. Because you know what they say, the third time's a charm. Not necessarily in this case here, Sharif.
All right.
Because we put on the more size, and sure enough, we take that stop out, and I'm like, oh, BS, what is this? But then I see the momentum really start. Is that what you want? Yeah, I can't, man. I can't. So I'm like, oh, okay. I see the momentum flip. I need some more of that right there, man. I need a nice massage and dips yesterday. All right. Aside from that, I see the momentum really kick in, and I'm like, yeah, all right. Let's flip this. Do I typically do that? No, but I'm like, okay, we're down 25% plus in the intraday session. Let me add some more to this position. So I get in what I had and what I lost on this one, and then I double it up right here, and then that's when I kind of got partial heavy. I'm like, snap, a strong pop. So that helped us quite a bit. So nicely positive here this morning. And then we also traded the TQQs. I was so mad. I was borderline tilted on trading this thing tomorrow. So I'm like, you know what? Let's put it to the side and go back and focus on SE. That's where you've seen some of my trades after all of this choppiness. So we get a nice breakdown of the volume weighted average price. I take a little bit off. Comes back against me. Stop out break even. I'm like, okay, let me re-engage. I think we're gonna chop around in this neck of the woods. If I can get VWAP one more time, I'm gonna be happy. I don't wanna engage like 1 minute after I get out. I wanna give it a little bit more time. So sure enough, what happens, it comes, it doesn't get right to my level. I engage again, comes back, stops me out break even, and I'm like, oh my days, what is going on here? And then sure enough, made a nice strong leg lower. So, I mean, it's a couple missed opportunities, more choppy price action, and like I say all the time, I had to focus on the bigger names, and they're all doing a bunch of different things, and that's what I talk about analysis paralysis. It's unfortunate that I had so many things going on. There goes SE, right to the top side. Beautiful break up there, and so there goes NVDA, there goes the overall market, Tesla recovering. So these are the names that I had on my radar. The T-Trips, SE, NVDA, and Tesla all continuing to climb a little higher.
Look how long it took me to do that. During a whole introduction, I figured it out. All right, so here is my risk calculator. This is what I've been using. I perfected it at home yesterday. It wasn't working for the shorts. So if I put my stop price above my entry price, it would give me an error message. Now we've kind of fixed it to go both ways, so to speak. So here, it's super simple, guys. I vibe coded this, by the way. Super proud of it, super easy. So let's just say, for example, I want to risk 25 bucks on their next trade. We hit 25, and then it tells me, all right, Sharif, what are you trading, brother? And then I'm like, all right, you know, we're gonna look at the turbine over here, TURB, and I wanna get in at $1.80 because $1.80 happens to be the 10 EMA on the 5, and I see support all the way down into 170. So I tell, I'm gonna get in at $1.80. He's like, all right, Sharif, where do you want to get out? What's your stop? Well, we're gonna go 169, or you guys know the affinity for that number. And then it tells me exactly what my share size should be, 227 shares I should be taking, what my 2 are, my 2 times risk, what my 3 are is, and then it makes it super easy in the moment so I don't have to do any calculations. I know a lot of people can do this stuff in their head, especially with experience. I'm not one of those people, nor do I want to be one of those people, hence why I vibe coded this entire thing. Super pumped about this. It's really helped me manage risk a lot. That's not DOS, my man. It's called Terminal. Nice try, though. It's cute. Shows your age there. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're using this. That's basically what I'm going to be doing. And then it automatically detects when you want to get in a short versus a long based upon whether you enter your stop price above your entry price or below. So it'll automatically detect it. It's super easy, guys. I love this. And it's really helping me manage my risk a lot easier and in the moment. Because you're trading all these different stocks with different prices, and you know, your risk, especially on a trading floor, is super important there, and be able to kind of keep an eye on that. Barely an inconvenience, says Rex Banner. It's not at all, brother. It takes me like 2 seconds to enter it in, and you get it spits it out super quick. All right, here's what we're looking at. UVIX coming in fast and furious here. Obviously not a small cap gapper, but we're going to look at this one for a possible hold here. Nice hold off the volume weighted average price. A bit of a drop there, 839, 780-ish or 777, something like that is the volume weighted average price. Can I share the app?
My.
What's wrong, brother?
Nothing. SE is
continuing to go, eh?
Yeah, it's going nuts right now.
What a recovery from that. That's it's still really, really red on the day.
Crazy.
The problem with sharing this app is it's specific to the computer, the terminal that I'm using, because it has the directory for Python You have to specify it in the BAT file. If you know, you know. Let me see if I can make this a packageable thing where it has all the components that you need to run it all in one, maybe zip file or RAR file or whatever. I'll try my best to make it available for you guys, but so far it's just computer specific. Like the one that I coded at home didn't work over here, and vice versa, right? I have to keep making it specific to the terminal I'm on. Anyway, I'm sure I can fix that, but just give me some time. All right, TPET. Look, I'm not liking much at the moment over here, except TURB. TPET coming off the highs. It looks like it might lose VWAP here. Bit of a skew, double top through 2. Can't really hold 2. I mean, it got above it clearly in the pre-market at 540, but it was quick to retrace right down below 2. It tried again at 1005, got into 210. That's the official high, and then was quickly dropping there again. You know, I see some possible support here on TPET. At the 50 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, but you know, definitely not one that looks fantastic or anything like that. And you're also suffering from this unbroken downtrend ever since making that 210 high. Again, you know, with these ones, if it breaks the downtrend, then we'll possibly get involved, but it's going to have to be a decided break. So that's TPET, TMDE, a holdover from yesterday. You guys saw this monster. I didn't get involved in this one yesterday because it was unbroken downtrend. It had the best move like 4 a.m. till 5:10. So if you were up super early or you live in Asia or Europe, you probably had a fair shot at this. But it really did nothing until the, I want to say the afternoon when it started really trending in the aftermarket. Today, more of the same kind of dummy this price action. Like it's not tradable, at least for me anyway. Zigging and zagging, it looks more like a sound wave than a trending chart. ZD, this one's up big. It's more expensive. It's up 73 3/4. It was super lightly traded in the pre, but it did do volume. And then the bell rings at 9:30, 9:45. It really starts getting a lot of volume. And since that time, we've been defending the 10 EMA. But as I mentioned, a $48 2/3 name. We'll keep an eye out on that, and we'll see what we get. BATL, of course, on everybody's radar, as this one's been running for a number of days. You can typically tell how many days it's been running by how many times I've had to enter in the ticker. In any event, it is barely above the volume weighted average price at the moment. You know what? These black charts, they're super finicky at times. Like it'll just stop showing me VWAP. I'll keep having to go view, refresh for it to update the VWAP position. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Look what this does. Remember I told you the issue that I ran with? It doesn't even display it sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's even worse. I mean, at least mine displays it.
Bro, the delay on these are so bad, man.
Advanced charts.
The advanced charts. They're advanced. They're advancedly delayed.
Bad, bro.
Yeah.
In any event, guys, keeping an eye out on this one, looking for a move possibly back above 30. I don't like Battle at the moment. It's not for me. It looks like more of a short, if anything, and it's still continuing to put its lower highs, and it's also below the pre-market high. Dusty, DUST, kind of losing VWAP at the moment, 4 1/3. And coming into a key area of technical support, that is the pre-market high at 630. That's around 420 to 415. We're going to talk a little bit more about what I got on, but we got to go up to Adara at the big desk.
Yeah, I think we have to mention here Michael Burry with another call. We know ADBE was on watch. Michael Burry reportedly starting a position here, but he's also announcing on his Substack that he's adding to his positions in Fannie and Friday. So here's FNMA. Little bit of a spike higher on that, though. It's giving up a lot of that upside move. We also still have comments coming from the Feds. At this point, Feds Williams still speaking, saying that the Fed's going to have to consider concerns here with regards to Iran, but it's too soon to draw conclusions with regards to inflation or the impact here on foreign partners, saying furthermore that long-term inflation expectations have been remarkably stable. We know we got tons of hawkish remarks from Fed Schmid earlier, guys.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, continuing on here, EDSA. This one really wasn't running a whole lot yesterday, very consolidated, but as you can see, it had a really good day Friday. I think, from the opening print to the high, we were up at max 70%, kind of a gnarly double top there to close off the day. On Friday, we test those highs again and we reject them. Of course, I'm talking about that 250 to 260 area, but we're significantly above it now, having gotten up to the high day today, 335. It made the high of the day during regular trading hours, not in the pre, so we needn't worry about that. But I got to tell you guys, much like yesterday, I don't really like anything at the moment, so I will stay on my hands. I'm not going to take a trade unless I'm super pumped up about it, and right now, I'm not liking anything, Joey.
Well, I gotta sneeze.
Okay, guys, if you see any new ones coming in the chat, I'd love to know about them. People are yelling about MBOX. Let's take a look at MBOX. Have a quick gander at that one while Joey fights the sneeze.
Yeah. Nothing worse than a false sneeze, man.
Oh, this is a good one, Joey. Okay, so we get a nice breakout there, 730. The pre-market high, we just breached it right now. A prolonged looking bull flag with a gnarly range, 40 pennies at the low. Higher than 50 pennies, quite frankly, more like 52 to 55. Assassino, was that you? Okay. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Thank you guys for this one. It really depends on who I'm going to take off. We're going to take off the Dusty one because DUST just lost.
Dust up.
Yeah, well, that one is not doing anything good, Joey. So MBOX worked its way onto the side chart. This looks good. My immediate inclination on MOBX is to pick it up at the lower end of the range. Now, you may not get 40 pennies every time. In fact, you only got 40 pennies twice today. The 750 candle in the morning and then that 950 candle. So I'm going to be a bit more, reasonable in my expectations. Let's go 42.5, 43. We'll look to build it out towards the lower end of the range with a view to taking out, of course, that high day. And then, when you get up into that 50 penny area, my bias always is, what's that next 25 penny area? So we're looking for $0.75 likely here on MobX, Joey.
Dang, the mob. I heard Neil singing Mob Deep, man.
Mob
Shook
Deep.
ones out. Shook ones out here.
What's your favorite song?
Shook ones, part two.
Shook ones?
Part two.
Okay, second one.
That's it, man. That's all I got, really.
I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. That's it. Hey, man. That's all I need to know is
That's all you
claims
need
to be
to
a
know.
player.
Eh?
I forget. I had the lyrics in my head, but now they're gone.
The Biggie song?
No, Mob D, man. What are we talking about? All right. Anyways, all right. SE.
Being a player. I don't. Oh, that's
No.
I don't want to be a player.
Oh man, no. Oh, now you made me lose the lyrics, man. All right, that's all right. It'll come to me momentarily. Anyways, aside from that, I'm thinking too hard now, and then it's really now it's frustrating me. All right, SE. What else are we looking at? The overall market's climbing. Ryan O'Day, been there, done that too many times. I understand that it's frustrating. Luis Valencia, if you're still in the chat. If you don't have it on your platform, go through your broker, because I seen you right this morning. You're like, hey man, I took a hefty loss this morning. Just go with your broker and make it so you can only lose so much, right? And you can adjust it whatsoever for 24 hours. That's what I did.
Agree.
That's what I did.
Agree.
No matter how frustrating.
Was that the move?
Yeah, that's what I had. Yeah, brother. Otherwise, there's too many times where I was just on really good runs, and then you have that one day where it wipes out a whole month or a couple of months, and you're like, what the heck am I even doing here? And then sure enough, you put that in there, and you can't change it. You can't adjust it for 24 hours. So it makes sure that you cool down, all right? Shout out Peggy Goo as well. All right, moving forward, there goes Microsoft putting in a new high of the day, roughly, guys. Apple, how are you doing today? Starting to form somewhat of a wedge. Is it going to break out? Possibly. NVDA continuing to climb. This is going to be a key pivot level. Are we going to run into this support and completely fill this gap? On this current trajectory, it's looking like we're going to. Tesla, a nice rebound north of the volume-weighted average price. We'll keep an eye out on this bad boy over here. And then META looking pretty strong, guys. Just going through the Mag 7. And then Broadcom also, with the price target being lowered earlier this morning, not too bad of a look whatsoever. I told you, we had the short on the Nasdaq not too long ago, and then you get a full-on rebound. So what are we going to do? Where's my boy Gorev in Los Pollos? What we'll do is we'll look for some indecision prints, but we don't want to go against the grain right now. Is there going to be a continuation in SE short? I just don't see us going down north of like 30%. All right, my boy. There he is. He's here. So yeah, that's what I got going on. It's been, so I was up nice, and then I was down a little bit, and then we were up significantly more than what we had on that previous pivot of us being up. So I'm going to be extremely selective, but I'm willing to put on some more risk here and look for some high-quality opportunities to just add to today. Because if we're rolling, even though I was a little bit, I wouldn't say I was on the tilted end. I'm like, hey, I can't allow this squeeze to go against me without taking advantage of it. And that's exactly what happened. So let's see if we can find a couple more opportunities on today's session, guys.
All right, yeah, just continuing to watch here. I have nothing. So you guys can tag me in the chat. If you guys want me to look at something specific for you, I'm watching TURB come back in around to the 170 area. Volume weighted average price essentially coming into that level now. There's a lot of resistance at $1.90 on TURB with a 191 high. Keeping an eye out on that. I'm also seeing TMDE possibly start forming here. What seems to be a rounded bottom. Is this a New York stock? No, Amex, okay. Grunfeld, brother, I responded to you. Look at the chat. I told you my entrance on MOBX is way lower than where it's trading right now. But TMDE starting to do a bit of a rounding shape off 4. Let me make my case to you guys here. Now, I have to see exactly what kind of candles we get in the next 5 or 10 minutes. But there's a lot of support at 4. The problem is you're not making any higher highs. You're still kind of holding that $4 area, which is an important area of support. It's a little bit above the volume weighted average price, which is at 390. Fine. But if I'm going to get into TMDE, I want to see that rounding shape where we start putting in some higher lows. Now, currently on this candle, you're getting the higher lows, right? The low of this candle is about 409. Prior bar low is 4. So you're certainly getting that. But I'm not interested in jumping into it quite yet. TURB is the one that I'm thinking about getting into now. And the reason is, if I get in around here, I can keep a super tight stop into the mid-60s, right? But the problem is, though, you know, yeah, I don't know if this is so much of a problem. It's a key area of technical support, but I don't know if this is going to hold up. That's the thing. 165 VWAP, I'd have to give it to that. I would also have to give it to that because you could see that there was price action resistance there as well, between these two bars, 9:55 and 10 o'clock. So there's definitely initial resistance, drops into 148, and then we get that 191 high subsequent. So that's another look for me there. So those are the two that I'm looking at. Looking at ZD as well. ZD looks like it might be making another, you know, holding here of that 48 into 49 and going into the high of the day. And then MBOX, shout out to you guys who took this. I didn't want to take this. This is continuing to go very strong here, 59 pennies. There goes MOBX, taking out the pre-market high quite decidedly, taking out 55 pennies, high a day, 59, now up 230%. Great look. The entry wasn't right for me, so I didn't get in. I was looking for more of a range, but now we're getting a breakout here on MOBX, Joe.
All right, brother. Yeah, so I got my eyes here on the T-trips. Everyone, let's pull it up on our chart. I was thinking about getting involved short. There's an inverted hammer candle and on the 1-minute time frame as well, too. But we're starting to blow past those signals. So if I can catch the peak, if it wants to do an additional liquidity grab, then so be it. Yeah, that's it. Let's engage here. I was trying to think of something. Let's engage. Let's see if it breaks. Really tight stop. I mean, we'll take a paper cut on this one, no issues whatsoever, as it's really starting to squeeze. Why? Microsoft's pretty strong right now. Apple was headed to the downside. NVDA is still hovering around, so we'll give this a little bit more time, but we don't want it to blow past this candle. Okay, so we're in at 15s. We're not gonna give it too much. We will give some back, but then we will. So there it is. Blowing past those signals. It looks like the market wants to put in a full recovery. It's the Nasdaq. It took me a couple of times to get this. I mean, I didn't even really get it rolling at this point because that cleaner leg was definitely after I engaged. But let's see if we can hold on to this for as long as we possibly can. If it just wants to skyrocket, then we want no part of the shorts, right? We're going to look to, yeah, so there it goes. 10 cents, well, 15 cents out of the money right now. Let's see if that's going to be the final liquidity grab, and then maybe we'll get somewhat of a pullback. I will look for longs on TQ if we can get a pullback to VWAP. I mean, if we get that pullback to VWAP, Gorb, that's going to be one of my targets. But the way we're currently trading right now with Amazon climbing higher, NVDA is still hovering around, consolidating, potentially putting in a ABCD pattern. If that decides that it wants to break that 190, that 180 mark, then see you later. And there goes the TQs. See you later, as quick as you like. So we were in this trade for all of 2 minutes, and that was it. We're going to get out of that one. So that was short-lived and a lot of fun, giving back some more profits. Are you kidding me? All right. Anyways, aside from that, thing is a pain in the rear end to trade sometimes. I could tell you that there, folks. Meta's going higher, so maybe it's best to go with the flow, Gorb. You're right on that one. And we went full size into that. So, I mean, we regained everything. Wow, I did give everything back there. All right, so whatever we made on this, we just gave back on that trade. So that's unfortunate. But aside from that, we'll look for some more opportunities. I think it's just go with the flow. Maybe just stick with SE. That thing's been our killer for today, and that's what I'm going to do right now, Sharif.
All right, man. MDB says Benton. Benton, we play tomorrow, Liverpool today. SSR bounce. Let's look at MongoDB having reported earnings in the morning. I think this was markedly down. Guys, MOBX is continuing to go. I just got into Turb. We'll talk about that in a second. 159 is my out. But let's look at MDB for the OG Benton. Wow, that's a drop. 324 was a closing print. We go all the way down. The low of the day today is 229. Jeez Louise. It's bouncing back. As you mentioned, Benton SSR, of course, this is a short sell restricted, still down 21.5%. Looks, though, Benton, like there is some selling here at 257. This is a good-looking bull flag with good support at the 10 EMA on the 5. Sorry, guys, let me throw in the ticker. MongoDB, MDB. Good flat top break possibly here brewing. Looks like the closing prints, Benton, all south of that 256.25, let's say 256 resistance. With this candle, I'm talking about the 1120 candle having breached that 256 all the way up, I believe, 257.26, so 257.25 is that high. I would look to pick it up off the 10 EMA, Benton. Right now, that's around 253.5, could be 254. That could be a money fill, and my out would be below the bar at 1105 on the 5-minute chart, the low of which is 251.20, because that's the local area low. It doesn't hold up there. Why are we in it? Why would you get involved? So MongoDB, short sale restricted, getting that SSR bounce. Watch out, though, because, you know, just from a fundamentals perspective, we know what this is, right? So you may be getting some selling into strength. Keep your eye out on this one. I'm not going to execute on it, obviously, because this is not for me. Chaz, peep that MOBX news if you haven't yet. We'll get to that, though, but we have to go to Adara right now at the big desk.
Yeah, what we're going to do here is take a look at this market as we have more commentary here with regards to the situation in the Middle East. Axios reporting that the UAE is considering striking Iranian missile sites. So that's also in what your UAE potentially considering striking Iran. I want to mention as well with regards to just the overall situation and market outlook, Trump is set to speak at some point soon. It's supposed to start at 11:15 with the Chancellor of Germany. That has not begun yet. I have the stream open. Once that starts, I'll keep you posted. Back to you. Hi, Trump.
VIX Lab stock surges after U.S. Navy Tomahawk component order. It popped after receiving a U.S. Navy production order for filtering components used in Tomahawk cruise missiles. The components protect electronics from electromagnetic interference, obviously another way to intercept these missiles, also for drones. Just check out your boy there, Palmer Luckey. Increased missile production is driving higher demand. Of course, the company is pursuing acquisitions to expand defense and aerospace markets. Thank you for that. So a military headline, we know military names and military catalysts right now are certainly going to be in vogue. We'll definitely keep an eye out on that. Thank you for mentioning it. Joe?
All right. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. JPM climbing higher up to 296. How has CrowdStrike been performing today? Going to be keeping an eye on some of these names. I want to get in at the lower end of the range here on SE if we're fortunate enough to do so. That would be perfect at $80. I'm not going to be chasing it all the way up here or buying it in the middle of the range with the amount of risk I'm willing to put in. So what we want to do is, if I'm wrong, it's just a couple of pennies until we prove ourselves being wrong, and then maybe we can catch the top end of the range. All right, no, I'm out on the short. I might re-engage here, to be honest with you, but I'm just not seeing any prints really that I like in order for me to do so. And I hate going against the Nasdaq when it's just trending. It's trending. It's like, okay, we'll do an additional liquidity grab, and then by the time you get your move, you've taken 2 losses, and then you get the initial leg you're looking for, and then it bounces right back up because buyers step in. Sometimes it's just a pain of a vehicle to trade. It's clean other days, but then there's so many variables that you have to take into consideration with this one. So I'll be looking at SE. We have to look at NVDA, obviously, on the day. There's a key resistance zone that we're currently running into right at 179, 180. But this is the name that I really want to see see if I can take advantage of one more time. It worked for us a couple of times here today, and why not just continuously do that? The short, we had 2 that worked for us on the TQs. Third one didn't work. Will the 4th be the charm? Maybe, possibly. Do we do it here now? I mean, the overall market is starting to come back in a little bit. Nothing substantial. But again, what's Apple up to? Still in limbo. Microsoft, are you coming off those highs? No, it's just put in a new high of the day not too long ago at $446. Amazon, what are you doing? You still climbing higher? Starting to come in a little bit, but it's just not weak enough in order for me to engage aggressively here on the TQQs.
All right, still holding here TURB. All the while, MOBX is going. A new high a day coming in there, 62.70. What 62.75? Here comes 63. The squeeze, the breakout is on. I feel like an idiot not having gotten into this, but I didn't have an entry, right? We're getting extended away from the 10, EMA on the 5. It's at 55 pennies. We're almost about 10 pennies above that. I could have given it to prior bar low. Maybe that's my fault for hesitating there. Prior bar low is 58.02. Current bar low, 61.03. It's breaking out and almost at 65 pennies. 64.15 is the area, or is the price that we're at right now. So good look here for MOBX. Really, it's the only one running at the moment, quite frankly. Yeah. And I don't have an entry on it. I want to mention as well ZD. ZD is continuing to go. It's back all the way up, almost into 50. Great hold here at 48, 49.60 as it works its way back into that $50 area. In fact, the high of the day is 50.55 on the dot. So that could be an interesting area of resistance, the 50 area. Possible double top on there. No idea whether it does that or not. But we're going to be keeping an eye here on ZD or ZD. But it's the MOBX show, man. All the way up now into 66.70, very strong. Yeah, I'm not chasing this one, needless to say, but if it's going to continue to present more opportunities on the pullbacks, I will get into this, but just not at the moment. It's wow, what a move up, man. That was a mistake by me there, but I just didn't have the entry, man. I didn't have the entry. So we'll keep tabs on that. But MOBX into the high of the day, up 275%. We're going to Adara for the crypto segment.
Let's start here by talking about Riot Platforms. Of course, this is a Bitcoin mining play. This will likely be discussed more in the afternoon news segment, so I don't want to get too into it, but worth noting here, losses per share for Q4, sales of 152.83 million, but for the fiscal year, 647.4 million in revenue. That is well above last year's annual revenue of 376.7 million, so kind of just shy of doubling that revenue. They also produced more Bitcoin in 2025 than they did in 2024, and average cost to mine Bitcoin, excluding depreciation, that unfortunately is going to actually be a little bit higher. Let's take a look here at BTC. This daily chart continuing to show us 70K is going to be a massive level, and right now certainly serving as a big level of resistance. We got that level kind of touching and then rejecting on Wednesday, February 25th. Less than a week later, we try this again. That'll be yesterday, March 2nd. Today, not really near that 70K level in a salient way as of yet. High of day, 69.2. Currently trading around 68 halves. Let's see if Bitcoin can successfully take out that 70K level and even maybe post another straight green session. Right now, we are red, but just barely. Ethereum looking a little bit less similar to Bitcoin than it has in recent days, or I guess recent weeks. Having these higher lows, much like what we're seeing here on BTC, but a little bit farther away from a salient resistance level than what we're seeing in BTC. This resistance level on Ethereum as of right now looks to be that 2150 level that we've been rejecting since early February of 2026. Keep an eye on some of these auto names as well. I'm just seeing that Toyota North America has released its February 2026 EV sales. Back to you.
All right, $5 super chat here from JKL. Let me know the thoughts, if you would please, on short MSTR and long gold. Let me know these thoughts, if you would please, on short MSTR. Okay, way to repeat the thing. MSTR, let's take a look at this name here and see what we got going on. MSTR and then long gold. I don't think the long on the gold is a horrible idea, in my opinion. Anyways, aside from that, MSTR starting to form somewhat of a base here, guys. I don't know if you're going to get the continuation in short, in my opinion. The way that I'm looking at this, and maybe the street is as well too, it's just that the fact it's, hey, We were up to $542. Now we're trading at $134. That's a 74% discount, right? I mean, and then Bitcoin only being down, what, 35 or 40%, whatever it may be, 50%. Anyways, it's down substantially more. I don't know if you're going to get the continuation. Maybe there's somewhat of a rebound here in MSTR. Gold, if it's anywhere close to the all-time high, then, I mean, strong gap down, but recovering, I think this could be a good opportunity to get involved. But if this trend line is broken and then you're on the back side of it, then I would look to maybe disengage and be a little bit more patient. There's going to be multiple that you can draw here. And then if you're on the backside of this, then you can definitely get a better price, in my opinion. So that's how I look at it. Thank you very much for that super chat. Here is SE, and this is what I'm talking about. So you do get that leg down here in the TQQs, but then you bounce right back up. I was kind of getting frustrated on the fact that it's like, it curls over, and then it slowly starts to work, but then it starts to form this neckline and support level right at 47, bounces up it. So if we fail to establish a new high right here, then maybe there could be a good time to get involved.
Man, MOBX just keeps going, man. All right, here's GLD. Do I see gold hitting 5,400 anytime soon, says Chris. I don't have the futures contract anymore, but I can take a look. Let me see. I might actually, but it'll be delayed. That's the thing. Gold futures, because I don't have the, I don't pay for the thing anymore. The data for that. It's like costing me an arm and a leg when I looked at the year price, bro. It was like, like a lot, man, for the year. Like, really? And I had the pinks as well. I had a bunch of other stuff that was holdover that I never even really needed.
Shore up those costs, my boy.
Exactly, right? So let's look. This is the 5. Let's go to the daily. So your question is 5,400. Well, 5,400, we were just there. I think we weren't really just there today. Right, the high today, almost there, 53.94. I think you're still holding trend, brother. This is the GC, this is the futures, this is the April 28th contract. We've obviously been well above that, but that was in late January. The high there was 56.26. Look, you know, I personally think that gold continues to do well for a number of reasons. One, you see the risk-off sentiment from, you know, like it's the hedge away from the American dollar, right? But you're also kind of, and I know they're inversely correlated, right? But you've also got President Trump, you know, actively not promoting, but being okay with a weaker U.S. dollar, and that's something he's done, you know, tacitly and quite explicitly as well. I think he's pretty much said that. And, you know, his policymakers seem to echo that sentiment as well. So if that's going to be the case, a weaker U.S. dollar, obviously we see strength in gold because they are inversely correlated. So if you're looking from a fundamentals perspective, I think that the trade possibly is there and it continues to run. If you're looking from a technical perspective, I still like the higher lows. Bouncing off 5,000 today, right on the dot. 5,005 is the contract low. The high is 53.94. So you're essentially at 5,400. On the day, and I have a bias that we probably see that again. Yeah, that's just my opinion, though, and obviously not financial advice. Thanks for your question. Continuing to watch MobX, you know, run here, 282%, 69.53 high, showing 67 and change. We'll keep an eye on that. The trade I got on here is TURB. We're in at 72, showing 78. So I'm looking at for profit initially at 82, and then my 2R is 92. 92 would necessitate a high day break because the high day is 91. So I never really want that to be the case where my 2R is above the high of the day, but you know, if that's going to be the case, we're going to go with it. I ideally would like to get in at a level where my 2R, where my 2 times risk is below the high of the day. So I don't have to fight the shorts and or the profit takers who are going to be looking to take profits, you know, in and around that high of day anyway. Showing 79 now with the prior, not the prior candle, but the one before that. I'm talking about the 1125 candle has a high of 180. Here we are at 79 again. We're holding this bit of a range here, but we're not making any higher highs. We need to make higher highs above that 180 area for me to feel a little bit better. And currently we don't. Fluffy, your microphone makes some kind of noise. Does anyone hear it? I don't know. Sorry, Fluffs. Assassino, do you hear anything, brother? Just when I touch it. I only touched it now because she mentioned it. Assassino said no. So I'm sorry, Fluffsters. I do apologize. I take... I like YV 7584. This guy's setting up for a lawsuit, eh? I take everything that Sharif tells me as financial advice. He's just ready, bro. He's waiting to print, bro.
Who said
We're
that?
gonna get a statement of claim soon.
Damn.
Or a notice of action, because you can do both, Joey.
Okay.
Anyway, ASM buy. You want to cover that one? Touch your mic, says Ozan.
ASM buy.
Ozan.
Yeah, sure. We could take a look at that one. We're trying this TQQ short one more time here. I mean, breaks down, comes, fails to put in a new high. So we'll take this. This is going to be the last stab at it. And we're just slowly giving away some profits here, and that's not necessarily the case. I made back everything that we lost yesterday. Then that's what I was talking about. Danny boy is like, man, you just got to shut things down. But I did give a little bit back here. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to recoup, right? So we'll go over ASM right after we get back from Madeira.
Let you guys know here, another Google blog entry, a little bit later than we usually get them. Usually get them right at 11 a.m. But GeoOGL apparently announcing that their 3.1 flashlight is going to be rolling out in preview to developers via Gemini app, or the Gemini API in Google AI Studio and for enterprises. So it looks like they've got another AI-related rollout. I'm also seeing here that apparently loud bangs have been heard in Doha, as reported by Reuters. Back to you.
Loud bangs.
Do you think that we start seeing different methods of retaliation other than military methods?
I heard you talking about that this morning.
Do you fear that at least? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Do I fear it?
I feel like when they run out, you got to assume their conventional military stuff's probably going to get hit, decimated. They can probably try to hide it as much as they possibly can, but we know. Right?
Yeah.
The reconnaissance and the surveillance. And so do they resort to other methods?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past it. That's for sure. Do I fear it? I wouldn't say I necessarily.
Absolute wild card. I think the market goes haywire if that becomes the response, because it's like super hard to stop.
I think it would have to be a more consistent response opposed to just like one-off events. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Right?
Fair.
So like you get the one thing here and there. I think you would have to be like more strategically and planned. Otherwise, I don't think the market would.
I do concern myself about that, though. I do.
Even here?
Not necessarily here. I worry about the States because we know that Venezuela was sort of a hub for anybody who was, let's just say, on the other side of the other team, and then they would set up shop there. And then we know under previous administration of how many people were coming in. So who knows how many people came in, and that concerns me. It does.
It does, but I think you know what, they're pretty good at tracking that stuff now.
Okay.
Right? I think
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No.
I'm just concerned.
I mean, obviously you're gonna have the odd one slip through. We've had those events, but I think they're pretty good at catching in on that.
I hope
stuff,
so, bro.
Right?
I really do. There goes EDSA. I see you, Johnny. I see you. Yeah. I saw the flat top break manifest because it was like basically a 325 flat top break, and it just took out the day's high, and here we go. 348, 352. Breakout level is 325 to 330. Be on the lookout here for EDSA. It is really going. It's moving in a hurry. It took out the $0.50. It's got a respectable spread, at least for the moment. It's 1 penny. I've seen it wide. There it goes into 4. So it has these outlying moments where the spread opens up, typically at areas of key support and resistance. So be on the lookout for that. Obviously, the $0.50 is one of those areas. But there it goes, 353. All the while, MobX is continuing to hold prior bar low, even though we did have a topping tail candle, a doji-looking candle that manifested at 1135, the high of which is 69.5. This current candle has a higher low, but also a lower high. So that is something to be on the lookout there for on MOBX, but it really does feel like the EDSA breakout right now. I should have been more alive to that. That was really good risk to reward because you didn't really need to risk much there. I think if you had gotten in on a 325, 330 area, you would need to have given it to the 3 mid-teens and really no other than that. There it goes into another high a day. Pardon me, 362, 363. It's all gas, no brakes right now on ETSA. Look out for a retracement here. The first area I'm going to be looking for, if it clears the $0.50 by, let's say, 25 pennies or so, does it hold up at the $0.50? If the answer to that is no, I'm looking again at that quarter to a third of a dollar as a former area of resistance flipping to support, Joey.
All right, good stuff. I mean, Patrick, very good point there, my friend, because this is just continuously squeezing like any dip. I thought, okay, yeah, we head into 47.09, gave me 47s, and then I'll look to take some off. But everything just keeps getting bought right back up and shooting higher. So, yeah, I'm looking at Apple here, even though I don't necessarily want to trade it. It's consolidating. I want to get in at the lower end of the range. If it decides to rip, then we'll take advantage of that. But yeah, this market just continuously keeps grinding higher. There's no turning around or any form of a pullback just yet. We'll keep an eye out on it. I'm going to hold on to this a little bit more and give it some more room. It's unfortunate. We may get stopped out and give back some more of our daily profits, but it is what it is. Yeah. Eyes on Apple. I have no issues with punching long on that one either. So there it goes, 20 cents as quick as you would like. There, even a little bit more on the TQQs as NVDA is sitting on the top end of this range. Yeah, I mean, all right, so yeah, let's keep an eye out on Apple, see if that one's going to get going here. I'm not going to average into this. We'll be a little bit more patient in case we get any form of curl over. So what I was thinking here, we'll just kind of get into the inside of my brain, is that, okay, we take this attempt, it breaks down, you fail to put in a new high right here, and then on the second attempt, I thought we would get that curl over and at least test 47. That hasn't been the case as the market is now ripping. AAPL is ripping here as well, too. So let's get involved in this name and see if that's going to decide to break out. That's an ugly loss that we're going to have to, unfortunately, eat now on the TQQs. I'm not going to average into this, but let's rock and roll. At some point, if things don't work, I just have to shut it down and accept the fact that, like, hey, we got some profits locked in here today. Just go with the flow on that front and not try to give back too much here, Sharif.
All right. TX Jet fan, brother, I am not going to trade Nvidia, but thank you for calling it out. We'll have a look and see what Nvidia is up to. He says Nvidia wants to break above 180 LF&G. All right, let's have a look. What's the monster up to here? Wow, this is some consolidative range we've been in here. Yes, good call. This looks good. We still have that 930 implied balance high to deal with, the high of which is 180.52. But here we are at 180 and a quarter. We're taking out that 179 and a half on 2/3, 180 flat top break. Good move here for Nvidia as it gets almost into the daily high. It just has that 930 level again, 180.52. That is the official high, and there it goes. Nvidia is now up 1% since the bell rang. It's still down 1% on the day. To go green, it needs to get above 182.50. That is the green level for NVDA, so be on the lookout for that. Good recovery here for NVDA. The chips are still all decidedly negative on the day, guys. But a lot of them are green since the bell rang. So again, I always show you guys this column here where everything is red. That's from, the red from 4 a.m. onward. But the green in the second column, that's basically whether it's up or down from the bell. And you can see kind of like ASML, still down 4 2/3, but now essentially down 0.1% from the bell. And then like the other case, Nvidia is now up 1% since the bell rang. So good look there. By the way, stopped out through TURB as that one broke below the volume weighted average price. So we'll give back a little bit there. MobX on a bit of a pullback coming into 61 pennies. The 10 EMA on the 5 for me is at 60 and a quarter. So I'll be looking at that, but it's the ETSA show right now. It is the ETSA show with that flat top break. That's gonna haunt me. That's 2 trades I've missed now on the day, ETSA and MobX. And ETSA's really going, probably have a bias here that we get into 4. It's a 391 high. So, essentially it's already kind of made the attempt into 4, 391. Good look there, and I'm watching MobX as well, turning into a hammer candle, bottoming tail candle as it gets bought up. Still though, unbroken lower highs ever since making that 65.93 high of the day on MobX. I'm continuing to watch here. I want to get into MobX, but it's going to have to be a money entry. I still have 2 biases here on MobX. Let's go through them. The first one is going to be the 10 EMA on the 5 for an area hold, which also happens to jive or overlap with 60 pennies. And then I've got 55. That's where I put the majority of the size, between 55 to 52.5. The reason I say that is that's the breakout level that we couldn't shake, and we couldn't shake it from 7:30 a.m. when this one got the catalyst. So initial area of entry, if it makes it down into 60 doesn't hold, then I'm looking at 55 to 52.5 here on MobX. But there goes ETSA right back into the high 80s. It's a 91 high. This one is all gas. There's another high of the day, 395 now. ETSA's really going and now is up 73%, 72% on the day. Watch out for a $4 rejection, as this one may have trouble with the psychological area of resistance. Let's go up to Adara.
More on Iran and some comments from Fed's Kashkari, who just began speaking here. He's saying that, quote, it's too soon to know how the Iran war will affect inflation. So he's not, as direct as we were hearing from Janet Yellen and Jamie Dimon yesterday, saying that in certain situations there definitely will be some inflationary impacts. But Kashkari just saying, as of right now, a little bit difficult to tell if and how this conflict will be impacting inflation here in the U.S. He did say, however, that it could have a monetary policy impact. Furthermore, U.S. reportedly considering oil tanker insurance support to ease Mideast crude shipments, as reported by Reuters. I'm just seeing new reports here from Iranian news saying that Iran has vowed to hit all regional economic centers if its own main centers are hit. Furthermore, last but not least, Trump's meeting with the Chancellor of Germany just went live now. He hasn't even begun speaking yet, or I guess now he's just begun speaking here as this meeting with the Chancellor of Germany goes live. Trump talking, back to you.
All right, Joey, what's going on? Hey, oh, okay.
Let's go over
them. Nick, Sharif, check out the flag on T, the bull flag, I'm assuming. Long, 28.90 on AT&T. Oh? I don't know about this one, buddy. Oh, yeah. Definitely an uptrend. I would say the bull flag, 930, and you had a pennant. I would make the case that this is a pennant, compression pattern, lower highs, higher lows. You get the breakout, and now you're caught in an uptrend, a nice up channel. I would trade this as a channel, picking it up at the lows, selling at the highs, saving a piece for the dream should you get a break above the channel. But good call on this, by the way. Great call. Not a name that I'm interested in trading, but yeah, bull flag, bull pennant, and then boom, up into the high. So good call there. Guys, MobX. Let's get into this one here because it's finding a bit of a base. So prior bar low, 61.43. Current bar low, 62.05. So let's watch now. 60 pennies is where the 10 EMA on the 5 is. So MobX could be in a bit of a channel here. Let's go ahead and have a look. So I'm going to need to load up my calculator, which is over here. So if I want to get in, let's say at around 60, let's just go 64. So we're going to say 64 pennies, give or take. And I'm going to risk that. And then my entry price, right, would be around 64. I'd have to give it to 60. So let's say 59, right? All right, so that's what we do there, okay? Not a bad look, not a bad look. We're going to give this one a little bit of room here. So we're going to give this one the old college try, and we're going to see what happens here, Joey. Especially, I missed the trade initially. We're in at 64. Let's see if this holds up. Prior bar high, by the way, is 66.08. High of the day, 69.53. I'm in a little ahead of my entry. I think I might move up my stop to prior bar low, though. Right, which is 61.43. I've given it to 58. I don't want that. I'm going to give it to prior bar low, even though that doesn't. That's a bit of a tighter stop there, Joe. So I'm going to send it to you while I throw out my stop.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a little scalp on the breakout out there on Apple, but now I'm back into SE. As you guys can see, this is starting to move for us. Let's wait. I want to see if I can hold this into 82. If we can hold this into 82, that would be absolutely prime time. I'm a little bit north of the volume-weighted average price. I'll take a little bit off. I mean, that's not too bad of a look right now. We're in at 26s. We got that pop up into 70s, so one more clean flush to the top side. We'll look to piece a little bit out. Oh, and there it goes. It comes right back in here. Let's see if we can get some more action. I should have took some off right there at 75s. But it is what it is. We'll be patient and see if that's going to come into play. I'm also short the Nasdaq one more time. This is going to be the last attempt. It gave back a lot on today's session, and that's not a good thing whatsoever. So yeah, SE's definitely been our better trader here today, and let's just continue to go with the flow as we head right into the volume-weighted average price. If we get a strong push through VWAP like we've already experienced on this charting platform, it's slightly different because the data is starting to take, this is at 6 a.m., this starts to calculate at 4 a.m., so slightly different prices. This is going to be at 81.43, so a strong push up there. We already seen that in the volume really started to kick in, so we're going with the flow on that front to see if that's going to come into play for us. Now, as for the TQs, slowly built into this, I think we can get a little bit of a move lower. Apple had a false breakout here. Boom, false break. We took a little bit off, came back against us, and then now maybe if Apple decides that it wants to break down, it can help drag the Nasdaq with us. So SE, let's head back into 82s. All right, we like that. We like those displays of strength there, Sharif. Let's see if you can get 82s for our boy here. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. If it breaches the volume-weighted average price, then unfortunately we will have to get out of Dodge. Adara, what do you got for us?
Keep an eye here on the market. We do have Trump talking now. He's currently answering questions along with Chancellor Merz of Germany. Mostly he's being asked here about Iran. Nothing like massive or earth-shattering that's been said there yet. But I do want to mention comments from Fed's Kashkari saying, quote, I had expected one cut in 2026, but now I'm unsure. Now, it's unclear based on the wording of this if he now expects more cuts or less cuts, but either way, Fed's Kashkari now maybe not sure about one cut. If I do get a sense more in terms of hawkishness or dovishness, I'll let you know. But so far, his comments have been very hemming and hawing. Kind of hard to get in a sense of opinion either way, especially versus people who were like outwardly hawkish, like Fed Schmidt. Back to you.
All right, so yeah, I mean, ebb and flow, there we go. Come on, let's go. Let's keep our eyes out on the taper printing 81.51s. You can see that the spread is starting to widen here, which doesn't make two things fantastic. I know Adara might like that, but if we can break through this resistance zone that is $82, then I think we can really get a strong recovery here in SE. So let's be patient to see if this is going to work. We keep bouncing around, and I put on a little bit of shares here, considering the volatility within this name as well. So I want to try to hold this for as long as I possibly can. Sharif, what do you have?
I have nothing, brother. I'm in, I just got stopped out of MobX. I'm looking short now on ZD. It's got this double top here, which is interesting. Let me make that a little bit smaller, otherwise it gets convoluted. So I'm giving it to this prior bar here, 48.75. I want to see if this one can make it down into VWAP, right down into 46.25, give or take. I feel like the neckline around here is around 48.50. Prior bar high, so if you want a bit more of a tight stop, let's flip to the ZD over here. And we'll have a look at the 5-minute chart on ZD. Prior bar high, there is 48.15. I'm giving it to this prior bar high at 11.45, which is 48.68. Let's see if this one continues bleeding. It's lost the 10, the 20. It's below key areas of technical support. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. We'll see if this one can manifest. I got stopped out of MobX, probably a little premature because I did move up my stop on that one. But it's finding support here. So what I'm going to do on MobX is I'm just going to pack the patience. If it gets in and breaches prior bar high, I'll get involved. Otherwise, I'll just wait until this one is actually trending again. But ETSA is back on the move, guys. Here we go. Trying to break through 4. It found support at 380. It held prior bar low. It's still below prior bar high at the moment, so be on the lookout for that. 416 is the high. That's the prior bar, I do believe. Current bar high is 409, so we're still a little bit below that. Oh, MobX, that teaches me a lesson there, to not move up my stop. Yeah, that definitely taught me a lesson as it finds support and now looks like it might be breaking above 65. So I'm going to keep my eye here on MobX, see if I can get back into that with a better entry. But I still see that it's still putting in generally lower highs. So maybe I don't feel too bad about that. So we'll keep an eye here on MobX. TURB looks like it's still in a bit of a consolidative range, so I've got really nothing to report on that. I'm definitely looking at getting into ETSA, though, as this one looks like it's got all the trend behind it at the moment. A couple of topping tails, though, through 4, so you can certainly get the feeling that the selling is coming in quite aggressively at that $4 level. But, you know, with a 416 high, we've definitely been above it. It's just really whether or not the shorts are going to have more conviction than the longs here. And that's kind of what I'm looking at there, Joey.
All right, good stuff. So there it is. We're about to tap into 82 right there on SE. Thank you very much on that front. This is really starting to work for us right now, and that's kind of what we needed. I took the majority of it off already, but we'll leave a little bit for target here, as we did give back a lot of our day, just heading back into Greensville, USA, which we're thankful for.
My man.
Yeah, I mean, holy schmoly, man. I'll tell you one thing. It's just like, go rub your crystal. Okay, I'm not going to repeat that, nor am I going to read out your super chat. So, anyways, aside from that, guys, let's move forward here and see what other names are continuing to climb a little bit higher. Apple, false breakout. Microsoft continuing to climb higher. I don't find it that funny. Amazon, there it is, continuing to climb here as well. So, I mean, there it is. A lot going on here. If these guys break down, then I think we can continue to rock and roll, and that's kind of been my narrative. I talk about it all the time on the notes. If you're going to be trading the T-keys, you have to take into consideration all the big boys. Continuing to
what
to
is
trade
Neil
higher.
doing? Get Neil there. Neil's having a lot of fun with it, bro. I think Neil, because he just shaved his head, he's having a good time with it, man. Shout out to the boy, Neil. Super. Yes, I did see that. I saw it, Assassino. But Joey didn't want to read it, so we're not going to read it. Guys, MOBX, sorry to interrupt you, Joey.
Go ahead, yeah.
MOBX is still putting in lower highs, guys. So that lower high trend still very much intact here on MOBX. Again, I feel there might be a resistance at 65. If there is that 65 break with decisiveness on a closing basis, mind you, I'm going to get back involved in this one. And it's trying to make a move. Currently, it has a higher low, but it doesn't have any higher highs. I think that the higher high trend really does change with that decided 65 break. So your boy is going to stay put right here during the happening now and Neil's lesson of the day, because I'm certainly looking for that MOBX long if it comes in. As I said, though, we're going to go to Adair at the big desk for happening now, and then Neil is going to be dropping hot fire with his lesson of the day.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Trump is still talking. He's not happy with Spain. He's saying Germany has been great with regards to Iran. Fed's Kashkari talking as well here, guys. Now, we know he said that he's not quite sure if he still agrees with his previous call that there'd be one rate cut this year. And he hasn't really clarified yet if he means that he's thinking now more hawkish or more dovish. As like the most recent thing he kind of said on inflation was basically that, you know, he sees it dropping gradually. He also said that the strength of the economy suggests a higher neutral rate. So all these comments pointing slightly more hawkish rather than dovish. But again, pretty unclear. S&P 500 just pulling back right now from intraday highs. We know the market did gap down a lot as we do have these ongoing tensions here with regards to the Middle East and Iran. So oil is going to be on watch here. Here's CVX. Pretty choppy today. Another thing that was on watch here, of course, were these metals gapping down here for silver. So some of these safe haven plays even coming into question. Now, we know crypto not necessarily viewed as a safe haven play, but much like the market, nice push to the upside intraday for the likes of Coinbase and I believe MSCR being spoken about positively as well. Those two looking very similar to one another. Tons of earnings on watch as well. A lot in the retail space from Best Buy to CSE, so that's C Holdings, as well as Target. But then MDB, software play. We know software's been hit pretty hard lately with the SaaS-mageddon, as it's sometimes being called. MongoDB did get hit despite decent numbers. Guidance was a bit of a concern, but either way here, beautiful rebound here from lows for MongoDB. Now, in terms of earnings after the bell, kind of a lighter day. We're going to get GitLab, but we're also going to get CrowdStrike, CRWV, a name that I know Joe picked for the year and a lot of people watch. Let's see if the cybersecurity name can secure its position here as far as it is and not drop any further, because that has been a concern again with the plays in this sector. So this is a look back at their prior quarter here for CRWD. This will be reposted heading into the results, but it's worth noting they beat adjusted EPS and revenue by a hair for both last quarter. Furthermore, I'm seeing apparently this SAN is a ticker to look at with regards to Spain. President Trump saying that he's going to be cutting off all trade with Spain. So SAN, potentially a ticker to watch. But you know what you definitely can watch right now is Neil, who has a lesson of the day. Neil, what are we lessoning about today?
Okay, well, the lesson of the day is going to be on something else, but Sharif freaking Gobrail is short, and it's a glory to see. It's one of my favorite things to watch. If you guys have been watching this show, I know you have for a while, Sharif has almost always been a long and long-only trader, and now he is adding to the toolbox. He likes the shorts. He's come over to the dark side. If you're a day trader, you have to be able to go in either direction. You have to be able to trade in either direction. That's the most important thing. I call this guy out for phrasing all the time, so I'm going to correct myself there before you guys get out of hand. So what was the lesson of the day going to be? Oh, I was going to say, if you don't want to have to resort to asking a magic 8-ball what to do to manage your trades or to rubbing your head for good luck or whatever it might be, I can pat my head and rub my stomach at the same time. Look at that, just like Fozzie from... If you don't want to have to do all that nonsensical stuff, you want to have a plan. And there was something that Joe said that I wanted to talk about today. And I don't know the context of what yesterday was like, but I heard Joe say something to the effect of made up for yesterday's down day on presumably the update he had today. And that's an important thing. Right, and it's that litmus that you need to be able to focus on, whether it's your bad month, the previous month, you make up for it in your next month, where it's a bad week where you're able to do it, or a bad day, or even a bad trade. I think that level of discipline and risk to reward is going to be pretty important. And it's something that I wanted to talk about here because you will, like this morning, it was about as clean as it could get for me. And if you were watching the last 2 days on NCLH, with the exception, I did say the last trade might be a loser coming into VWAP every single time. So, off the open, we get the initial push down, we get the first bounce into VWAP to the low, we get the next bounce in VWAP effectively to the low, we reload at VWAP and that one stops out. It's close to perfect on this stock, but here's the way that you've got to look at it. If something goes basically perfect to plan, if I have a stock that loses, even once, twice, OB thrice, or whatever it might be, like have a look at Intel. Like Intel, loss, get one good short, short again, loss, short, wider stop, loss. Like that's a stock that won't look good for me. But Intel's a third of what I made on a single winning trade in NCLH, or a single winning trade on AMD. And then if I take it another step further than that, because I think this is actually a little bit more important, how I will grade the NCLH is, okay, well, do I have any losses that when this goes effectively perfect, it's not perfect, but effectively perfect, do I have any losses in the last week or two that are bigger than the win here? Because if something goes exactly to plan, it's important that you judge some of your other, like it looked like an A+, but it didn't work out last week. Did you lose more on that than when something goes to your plan? Because if you get it absolutely right on a stock or on a trade or a series of trades in a particular style, what you can't have happen is the same type of thing like a week ago, you lost 2x or you gave it all back. So it's a very important litmus test out there. And now I want to sort of switch gears for a quick little second because there is something else that I wanted to mention. There was a big spike, and when that news story came out that the U.S. is looking to help out with insurance to get oil flowing, and obviously the Strait being closed down and a little riskier to get tankers going through. Well, this was what happened in oil futures and USO. Big spike to the downside. Whenever we have news like this, some traders might say, well, let's go immediately to like an oil or an energy name. You don't always have to express trades in that way. I do find if there's something that you've been looking for, right? So think of it like this, like energy going down, market been going up, right? So the kind of inverse trade. So when this started bouncing back, if you were looking for a continuation, like a short the pop situation, the other side of that coin would be, well, find something that was trending up against energy and maybe be able to dip by. Because knowing where you want to express the trading news can be sometimes better than just going into the thing that's moving if you haven't even been trading oil before. So that led me to the missed move in IBIT for myself. I missed the reversal in IBIT. I think everyone in the morning show saw me miss it. right in here, and probably could have had it in there. But as that was pulling back on that around the time of that headline, it set up a very clean reversal trade. But because I was looking at IBIT when that oil news happened, I was able to sort of catch this bottoming tail candle, break the prior bar, get a little bit of a scalp trade in there. So the second part of this lesson of the day is you can have a big news event or a big shock or volume spike. You don't have to make the assumption that it's, it's an oil, it's an energy, that's where you have to make the trade. It might provide you an entry point into something which you were already following, which you were already looking for an opportunity, which might have been going counter, could have been some kind of a counter trade. Again, it could be anything. It happened to be Bitcoin in this particular case. But the key is I didn't have to jump over and trade something that I hadn't seen before. I was able to catch a dip buy provided by this opportunity that happened in the oil futures right there without having to jump into a new stock. So a couple of lessons today. One, make sure, hey, be flexible like Sharif, going some shorts every now and then and just doing more with the opportunities out there. Most importantly, ensure that, like Joe said, when you have a good day, let it cover up those losses. That's what it's all about. We talk about discipline and risk management a lot. That is one of the most important, if not the most important aspect of risk management. And that is for your winning days, winning trades, winning months, winning quarters, whatever it might be, to cover up those losing periods of that same ilk, and hopefully and then some. You can't be out there losing 2-3x of what your good days are. Because even if you do have a bunch of good days, you're now needing multiple ones or multiple good trades to make up for that one loss. So I'm glad to see that from Joe. And good luck the rest of, oh yeah, I said I would give an update on lunch. So this is not necessarily an indictment at the meatballs. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, and I don't know, I'm having trouble getting through the meatballs. They are, look, I'm giving them like a 5.2. Because I don't want to give it a failing grade, but yeah, they came cold. That's part of it. What are you supposed to do there? Sauce is pretty lame, and I don't know, they're a little hard. It's just, they're not that great. The salad's okay. The vegetables are fine with it, but yeah, the meatball's a solid 5.2. The salad makes up for it a little bit, I suppose, but good luck on the rest of your day. The trading day's been going better than the lunches.
So much from President Trump here. We'll start with oil. Basically, President Trump saying that you're going to have a spike in oil prices as the actions in Iran happen, but he said they'll drop the second that the Iran actions end. So Trump is saying that this oil price increase is just going to be temporary. Furthermore, President Trump talking about tariffs, saying that, well, he's disappointed in the Supreme Court tariff decision, which, as we know, a couple weeks old now. He said that in a way it reaffirmed his ability to kind of put tariffs on countries, saying, for example, I have the right to stop anything that has to do with Spain. So once again, Trump coming after Spain with regards to trade. He's saying that they might actually do that with Spain to stop all trade, as he alluded to earlier. And he said, quote, we must charge tariffs to nations who play with their money. Back to you.
What's going on with
Oh boy. Yes. Very important headlines, guys. The tensions with Spain, yeah, they are picking up. It's not just President Trump taking shots at the Spanish leader there. I think Elon Musk was going back and forth with him as well over X. Hey, it's a crazy world. We're just covering it.
Crazy, man.
All right. All right, guys, we're in MobX here. We're in at 67. There's a whole lot of selling into 73 and change, but there is general support at 70, showing 70 and change right now. Current bar has a higher low. The trade is no longer valid for me below 65 pennies. I'm keeping an eye on that. The reason I say 65 pennies, of course, that's a 10 EMA on the 5. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that. My 2R on this one is 80 pennies. 3R is 87. So I'm going to be saving pieces for dreams here. And we'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. Separately, we took ZD short 47.5, covered 46.5. We took a nice size there as well. This one, I covered it a little bit below before VWAP. VWAP was 46.50, ended up taking it at 46, I think 60. In any event, good look here for ZD, and what really kind of motivated me to get into the trade, even though it's up big on the day, man, like let's put some dang respect on this one's name, 65 1/3%, and we're well off the highs. This gnarly looking double top into 50, and then the neckline break at 48.5, 48 1/3. That's what gave me the confidence to get into this trade. This is a chart pattern that I think is a higher probability pattern. When you get a very clear double top into a key area like the $50 area, and then you have basically unbroken chain of lower highs breaking through, yes, that neckline to make the middle of the M at 48.5, 48 1/3. It gave me confidence. We took that one down. I didn't need to get locates on this one. It was free to short, so we're going to be keeping an eye there. Separately, before we see what Joey Opsh is up to, EDSA, guys, is holding here at the 10 EMA on the 5. It's not exactly rocketing up, and the equidistant upper and lower wicks give me an indication that there is currently an equilibrium between buyers and sellers, at least at this price level, but it's most notably holding above that 10 EMA on the 5. So if you wanted to get in, for example, 368, you risked a little bit below the 10 EMA, like 358, so risking 10 pennies per share. So that could be a profitable trade if that fits your profile. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye out there. Thank you, Assassino. Let's start with the first one. We're going to go with, let me just switch to fan funding. I know, I just got to see their name. Go ahead, Assassino. There we go. We got Arthur. Why didn't you guys trade Netflix at all today? I don't trade anything other than small caps. Nothing. Exclusively 100. Well, that's not true. I've traded Circle. But I lamented having done that. It stood strong against the market. 94.50 was nice bottom. Let me know what your thoughts. You want to have a look at that for him?
Absolutely, man. All right, so there we go on SE. So Artemis and Sniper TV. It's gonna hit this one there, bang, 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 and you're gonna get stone cold on, that's for sure. Artemis and Sniper TV. All right, Netflix. I told you guys, I think this is a weight off of its shoulders right now. What happened?
No, just laughing, Joey.
So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good look. I think we run into 100 maybe by the end of the week. How does the trajectory look? Wow, what a big spike there in SE. I could take my last little bit out. We were long from what, 81.29, and a nice spike up to 84.45. So going with the flow on this, we like that play here. I'm gonna take my last little bit out on SE around these highs, guys. This thing can continue. Look at the volume really pick up. Back to Netflix. Consolidating right now. We're not getting any form of a pullback. That's some good, solid signs of strength, right? I think at this point, we could definitely run into 100, as I just mentioned, by the end of the week. I tried it a couple times. It's a little choppy for me. So, I mean, by all means, if you can sit in that, it's volatile. Lots of good opportunities from an intraday standpoint, but this is some pretty choppy price action, kind of what the Nasdaq is up to today. And then we have some more super chats here, Sharif. Well, who do we kick off with first? We have Arthur. Okay, you got the Arthur 25 Ronin there. I don't know if that's what those actually are. All right, Danny boy, what's up, brother? They say Wall Street is a mood ring for rich people. I don't know about the rich part, but with HYMC being down 15% today, I'm gonna go find a peninsula and think about going back to belly dancing. All right. I mean, if you're long HYMC and it's down 15%, belly dancing, hopefully you're working those abs out at the gym there, Danny boy. And then we have another one. Becky, Sharif shorting. This doesn't happen often. Super chat time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Becky.
Becky, with that $5 super chat.
Becky.
We're going to Adara?
Yeah.
Keep an eye here in these Chinese ADRs, not moving too much on this, but President Trump now speaking positively about China. He said he does plan to visit China this year and that they used to lose a lot of money to China, but not anymore, saying, quote, we have a very good relationship with China. So while he is not a fan of Spain or the UK as of today, he does seem to like China. Back to you.
My bad. Yeah, there we go. Joey, MobX kind of bamboozled me a little bit. I need to start sticking true to my stops, but I felt like there was a breakdown. Here's what happened. So let's just break this down here for a sec. Yeah, we had a very aggressive move. So this candle here ended up being a doji candle, and this candle, the 12-15 candle on the 5. So I'm watching on the 1, charting on the 5, right? It broke aggressively above prior bar, and it definitely looked like it was about to take out that 73.43 high. But then as soon as it got into 73, an insane amount of sell orders came on the tape. You guys know the red and the blue on my time in sales means a lot of selling. So red means selling at the bid. Blue means selling below the bid. So really showing you that people want to get the hell out of there. So I wasn't sure what was going on. It did come into the 10 EMA and held, but it did break the trend. So what I'm going to wait for here is a decided break of this lower high trend that we're putting in and a move back above 73.43. MobX could be a dollar stock before the end of the show is over, okay? Especially if it continues to hold this upper, the higher low, higher high trend. So MobX definitely in focus for me. But I want to bring a new one to your attention, and I want to shout out Outlaw Trader for calling this bad boy out, AVXX. Now this one, yeah, definitely coming from a lot higher. This one really had trouble yesterday. It lost about 60% of its value, a little bit less from the high there, about 55% off the top to the closing print. Trying to get a bit of a bounce back today. Why I like this one though, it seemed to have a flat top at around 5 3/4, that 575 area, 10.05 high, right, to 11.05, and then finally you get the decided break above the level at around 12 o'clock, 12:10. So AVXX, it's up 23% on the day, but let's put everything in context. This is what happened yesterday, right? So be on the lookout for that. There could be a lot of bag holders that kind of keep this one down. Joey, we're keep looking here at EDSA. And I like the look of this one's jib because it's holding up at the 10 EMA. But look at this, unbroken lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It's not exactly appetizing to want to get in. Yeah, sure, it's holding up above that imaginary green line. You know what I mean?
Long or short, you're thinking?
Long. Yeah, well, I mean, we're up big,
short.
Joey. You're thinking short there. See, I have a bit of a rule. I won't short it below the above the volume weighted average price.
Enough.
I'm going to wait for that
Fair
340, but good call on that. It does feel like flat bottom breakish, right?
It does.
Look how many times it's come into that 360 level. It's dying to lose it.
Right. So as long as it fails to put in a new high, then maybe we could take a little attempt on
Take
that.
a little attempt. Yeah, no, actually, you bring up a good point. Because if I was to get in here, you give it to about 375, 377, you're risking about 5 or 10 pennies, right? So it's not a bad risk to reward setup, guys. Guys, I've been using this calculator and I'm super happy with it. You have no idea how much I'm loving this calculator. Gives me all the levels that I need super quick. I'm really going to try to make it into a packageable download for you guys and then probably put it on for the premium members, right, on YouTube, that you guys get my morning note. I'm going to try to make this available for you guys. I'm really going to try to see if I can put it in an installation package where you can just install it at any computer. One of the things to look out, so Ben Zagel, Sharif, one thing to look out for this week, DeepSeek version 4 may be released by tomorrow, I heard, but they're supposed to be a lot more efficient than the previous models in ChatGPT, et cetera. Could cause increased meltdown. Good call. I like it. I like it, but apparently the new model was trained by Nvidia's Blackwell processors. How'd they get their hands on them? They're Chinese. I thought they weren't allowed to buy them. Moreover, if you believe some of the reporting, apparently these GB200s that they've been training the new model on are in a data center in Inner Mongolia. All right, you ever been to Inner Mongolia? It's one of the biggest deserts, I think, aside from the Sahara. So interesting to see, and apparently also on that, they were able to delete some of the digital footprints that shows that this specific model was trained on NVIDIA's Blackwell so that there wouldn't be, you know, that very obvious evidence. Now we're gonna have to wait and see what the analysts say about it and what they claim. I want to hear what DeepSeek has to say. Like, oh, we trained these on the Huawei Ascend when all of us, you know, they've got a bunch of H100s, 200s, and GBs. I digress. Lemon family, Sharif, shorting, you know the market is down when you short it. Look, brother, it has nothing to do with that. I'm just trying to set up the right trades for the short, but good call on your part. My main man, Adam, all class Deleuze.
What's up, brother?
I love this guy, bro. Sharif, can you place an order for a long? Can you place an order for a long at 340? He's obviously talking here about EDSA. Adam, I love the way you think, brother. So let's have a look at 340. 340, Adam, is the volume weighted average price. And I happen to like that a lot. I also like it, Adam, because that was the high of this area here. So 945, you get that implied balance spike, takes us up to 335. We lose the trend, we come back into 275, then all hell breaks loose to the high side. Now, Adam, since it reclaimed that the 10 EMA on the 5 at around 1030, look how respectful it's been of the 10 EMA. Basically, nary a breach. And here it is again, trying to hold up. But I love your entry at 340, volume weighted average price, a skosh above that prior area of resistance on EDSA. Adam DeLuce, speaking sense, my man. Welcome to Bill 6656, brother. Thank you for joining us here at Trader TV. You're part of the family now, and we're gonna call you Billy 66. Shout out to Billy 66 there.
Billy the kid. Maybe no, don't shout out Billy the kid.
Yeah,
I mean,
Billy. Well, he killed a lot of people, Joe.
Killed a lot of people.
He was good I heard he was. He was quite the gunslinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think you would do back in?
I'd probably be dead.
Well, I think the majority of us.
I got good reflexes, but I don't know. I don't really have. I've never really practiced.
But they still have kind of those competitions going.
Do they
on.
actually?
But,
Well,
but
yeah,
it's not like
imagine.
against obviously another
Imagine.
human and stuff. But
No, I wouldn't mind learning a little target practice. I went with my brother-in-law and when I go down.
States?
Yeah. There's a shooting range in Alicio Viejo.
Yeah.
And we go and shoot. Dude, initially it was my first time there. The concussive shock and the loud noise put me off a little bit. I was a little bit anxious.
Would you fire?
His weapon. I have pictures so I can show you. I forget what it is. It's a 9mm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The punch in it. Was it in a handgun or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Handgun. But you can rent guns and stuff like there. You can get rent big ones. They have like a Colt.
It's such a great feeling, just feeling that.
I
Punch
was anxious.
and that bang, and
initially.
that punch in your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Feels good, man.
I didn't feel like there was much of a kickback on there. It was it was
yeah.
pretty decent. It was just the noise. I wasn't used to it.
Loud. Well, especially indoors, it echoes a lot more.
And you can see you can rent a bunch of different like heavier artillery weapons to shoot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of cool.
Some 7.62 and some 5.56. We're all. I know my boy Mike Peter Ryder's all about those 223s and everything along those lines. We used to have fun with them, but now the Canadian government taking all of those fun toys away from us. So
yeah, Joey.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
seems to be the case there.
I have plenty of them, White Tokyo. But yeah, aside from that, guys, there's SSE up to 85.22. A strong rebound, a break through that volume-weighted average price. I was telling Sharif and Katina, man, I was up, down, left, right, center, and around essentially on today's session. But we're back to essentially where we ended off. So we'll take that one there. We had to punch it, man. I was short, and I was like. Just was like, oh man. I went to take some off, and then I added, I'm like, oh, you dirty dog, hockey errors, you, considering you just got so much going on. And I'm like, oh no, wrong button. And by that time, it was way too late. So we weren't fortunate enough to take a lot off, but I was just building, squeeze. And then I wanted to take it all off at that breakdown. I'm like, you know what? Let's stop messing around with this name. So yeah, that's it. SE definitely our best trader here today, and I'm fortunate enough to partake in some of these solid longs here. We got aggressive. We took one loss on this name here today, so that was fortunate on our end. We took 2 losses on the TQQs and 3 small wins. Apple, we did end up taking a loss just due to the fact of the failed breakout. Volume didn't step in, so this is what we have to look for, right? With Apple. Takes a lot. So I was long right in around 263, a little bit north of that. And then sure enough, you get that strong punch as the market made an additional leg higher. But now you're starting to give up that gap, Sharif, to 262. Now we broke through that support. Let's see if this is going to drag down the overall market. Adara, what do you have for us?
President Trump just concluded his remarks here with regards to, mostly Iran. He was with the Chancellor of Germany, but he mostly just discussed Iran, talking a little bit here about the Ukraine war as well with Ukraine and Russia. So lots of different topics discussed, again, coming after Spain specifically saying that he should be, and according to his interpretation of the Supreme Court decision, he is in fact allowed to put tariffs here on Ukraine. Another tariff-related comment we had came from, I believe, Jameson Greer, where they basically said they're going to be starting to go with these 15% tariffs soon, saying they have a 5-month period to go at 15% tariffs. Trump administration also saying during this meeting with Chancellor Merz that they're doing the various studies on tariffs. Unclear what the goal is of that or what these studies are focusing on. Back to you.
Let's take a look at Bitcoin here quick. I see a lot of people talking about it. So you can see the buying pressure stepping on these 10-minute time frames and on the 5-minute as well too. Nice hammer candle above the volume weighted average price as we make that push. Excuse me, for the high of the day. So let's see if we can continue with strength. The gaps have now been filled on a lot of names today, especially the MAG. Let's just run from the bottom up on our list because we're always going from the top. Even though we don't talk about eBay, that's not horrible, but gap down like the overall market. What has CVNA been up to on the daily? Because I was talking about this being a continuous short after that report came out. Yeah, I mean, I think we peaked around this level, and then we're down 34% from that mark. So multiple opportunities to get involved there on the short side with CVNA. And you know what? I didn't pull the trigger on this one. I was talking about this not too long ago. We haven't pulled up the chain today. At today's lows, there would have been an increase in premium on Netflix, and I think it's a great time for me to create some spreads on this name. And that's kind of my narrative. I'm not going to condor or anything. We have the overall market. If you look at the Nasdaq from a daily, it gapped down towards some key support levels. So the condor would be a little bit more difficult, even though we are finding somewhat of a rebound. But I wanted to write some 90s that expire in 30 days. That's not too bad. The issue is that I would have to put a $5 spread on this. And for me, about like 5 contracts to collect a couple $100, not really worth it for me. But if you have the ability to write naked, then by all means, I think it'd be a good, seriously. Right
I know what.
Right naked puts. But there goes the SE up to 85.38. At one point, it was down 28%. Now you're only down a half of that, a little bit more, 18% on SE, guys.
Oh, Rodrigo's out. Real Madrid fans, ACL, so you know. That's going to be a minimum of 6 to 9 months, guys. Sorry about that. Never want to celebrate a player getting injured, but that also, I think, makes him ineligible for the World Cup. That sucks.
Dude, you know what you have to do? It's kind of off topic.
Real Madrid. Yep.
Oh, is it that Rodrigo?
Go ahead.
I don't know. But anyway, I was going to say, I told you about the show Doomsday Preppers.
Yeah. I know about that show.
Yeah, you gotta keep a couple episodes, man. It is a comical show.
Bro, I don't watch any like TV. That's the thing. My life sucks, right? It's like every minute of the day is spoken for. It's just my Monday to Friday suck because the entire day is either work or gym. Or I'm doing
the gym doesn't
administrative
suck.
stuff,
Work doesn't really suck all the time.
It doesn't suck, but it's just like very like. And I'm going out Thursday night, and that is like a special thing. I have to organize everything around it, and that's just the way my life is.
You're not going to Yorkville again, my boy.
We are. You're so happy. Yeah, you're so happy. Of course you're happy, bro.
For you.
Yeah, that's why you're laughing like that. Huh? Okay. All right, guys, come on, you Gunners. There we go. We have a naked. All right, shout out to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Rally. Guys, I got a couple of ones I want to get to. Third super chat, Miner, Dip Buy, ASM, ARS. Thanks. Sorry, Matthew, man. I do apologize there, but there's a lot going right now. Let's look at what Matthew's talking about. I do apologize, brother. ASM, let's have a look. Okay, so let's start with the wider time frame, first and foremost. Okay, so a bit of a consolidative range certainly looks like there's a buyer between 8 to 8.5. I'm not buoyed by the fact that we were unbroken in the lower high game here. It doesn't look good. $12, lower high, lower high, lower high, and all the while, I don't want to say you have an exact flat bottom, but you certainly have a lot of bottoming tail candles in and around $8.50 to 8. So you can make the argument, possible flat bottom break unless something changes. If that breaks, where are you looking at support? I'm looking at 7. Immediately looking at 7. Area high back in mid-October. Area high for a while in mid to late December. So if it loses that level, I'd be a buyer at 7 with a stop below the 200. The 200 is 5 2/3. That's the daily. Okay, let's flip to the 5. The 5, I've got nothing to offer in terms of this trade other than it looks like it's breaking trend. Got to $8.50 after finding support at 8, and now it's bleeding its own blood. Right, coming right back down. So certainly breaking trend, having lost the 10, now losing the 20, and Yeah, that 8.5 area is what I was looking at there. You could certainly get a move here into like the volume weighted average price 805. So if you're looking short, not really a bad idea. That's ASM. Let's look at the next one there. He says ARIS. Almost the exact same thing. So metals all moving together. You got a pop, likely around into that $21 area. Now you're rounding again. Let's take a look at the daily to see if it's kind of the same look. A bit of a better look, no, on ARIS than you have here on ASM, because you're still running with the higher highs. That was a local area high back on the 29th of January. You made another area high yesterday on the 2nd of March, and you're still putting in higher lows as well. So if you're asking my opinion, but which chart I like better, nothing to do with the company. I'm not looking at any fundamentals here. We're just looking specifically at technicals. ARIS is the winner, unless you want to pick up ASM at 7. I think that would be a money buy on ASM at 7, but that's just my opinion there. I hope that helps, brother, and hope you print up multiple storms. Zion Lala, my brother, what do you think about the long on NPT? Nice trend upwards. Let's take a look. Check to the man Zion. That's the daily on NPT. Let's flip to the 5. Okay, so I've got that one on. Sorry, I digress. Yeah, I had that one on in the side chart here, and I like it. I like it because it's rounding, right? That rounded bottom, especially holding above 875, but I felt we were at $9. So I didn't want to get in at the whole dollar level, especially since we had trouble with 9, Zion. Take a look at that 820 and that 825 candle. Couldn't shake 9. Then it finally did at 845. So that's my main concern right there, right? But I think it would present me a better entry opportunity if I was to pick it up in the 70s, low 80s, right around that 10 EMA. Why? Because then I could give it to this bar low, the 1220 bar low, the low of which is 908. Sorry, that's, no, 867, pardon me. So I could give it to about 8 2/3, having gotten in at around the $0.75. That to me would present a good risk to reward, especially, you know, with it having dropped so much. But I like NPT here. It's up 59%. Let's put some respect on this one's name. It's dancing with 9. Let's see if it comes down into 9 3/4, 9 4/5. I'm likely a buyer in and around there to see what that one is up to. But for the moment, going to steer clear. Continuing to watch here. ETSA, where is it? MOBX, excuse me, MOBX, dilly-dallying, still having trouble putting in significantly higher highs. Let's bring in the side chart again and make this point. Look at this. So in the same way that it was trending with lower highs and then you got a breakout candle there, it looks like it's doing it again. One way to keep your eye out for what the winds of change, so to speak, is this candle here has a higher low relative to this bottoming tail candle, and that's what you got. You got that 1155 dip below or touching 60 pennies, and then it rocketed up into the high of the day. This candle here, another bottoming tail, I'm talking about the 1225 candle, followed by a candle with a higher high and a higher low. This current candle, the 1235 candle, very much undecided as we had just opened this one up. But MOBX, certainly in focus for me, and it will continue to be that way. Here comes NPT into 880, Zion. So this might be the buy right around that level, and then we can kind of give it to, did I put NPT on? Yeah, I did. And then I can give it to $0.0025. Joey, take over?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at SE go here, man. 86. Let's see what the Chris Arthur. I no longer see valuation. So they have. Yeah, trust me, brother. I don't disagree with you whatsoever. Unfortunately, just like the most things in life, a lot easier said than done. So Apple. Look at this tank, guys. A break from 262. You have that support level breached, and then now you're starting to really pick up, and you can see on the lower time frames, volume starting to increase. If we head over to the 1 minute interval, you're going to see the exact same thing. Selling pressure much larger than what we're experiencing on the buy side, so not too bad.
Come on, bro.
We've gone over the big names on multiple occasions. Let's see what AMD is up to. Not much, really. Been consolidating. More of a choppy mess on this one here today. Moving forward, Taiwan Semi, what have you been up to? Still didn't breach these pre-market highs. And also, Arthur, thank you very much for that, brother. I totally agree with you, by the way. Pan W, strong recovery here today, $154 there. SMCI, what are you doing? Dell, Rich Tech Robotics, RGTI, the quantum names. I mean, these guys unfortunately have still been beaten to a pulp essentially. What is it, 739 down to $2.42. 66% haircut on that one. MSTR, we talked about that, starting to form somewhat of a base, a consolidated range. Let's see. I mean, we're supposed to look at this as a leverage product, but I just feel like the price action right now isn't doing so, because if we got some strong pops in Bitcoin, I would expect a lot more, even though we are still within a range in spot BTC itself. SoFi, how have you been performing? Down 50% off of its highs, a little bit less than that, 43 to be exact. Coin, absolutely destroyed, taken behind the woodshed here. 402 all the way to 180, 55% haircut on that one. Robinhood, same thing, man. It's absolutely pummeled, 51.85. This was like a Shakur Stevenson showdown right here. And a Garcia against, what's our guy's name there? La Azteca. Mario Barrios. Yeah, La Azteca, Mario Barrios, 46% there on IBIT. What a disaster. CrowdStrike, how much are we down off of that high? I think we're hitting around a third of a haircut. Yeah, exactly. So 32% to the downside there. As SE is continuing to go, now only down 17%. I shouldn't say only 17%, but I think 87 could be in the works for SE. So not too bad of a look right there. Zscaler, same narrative. This had a 50% haircut. Tough look there. And DraftKings, absolutely destroyed, that's for sure.
All right, I tried to get in, guys, into NPT. It's a clean hold. I couldn't get in. The spread didn't really help me on that. So, and for whatever reason, my platform on the side was like frozen at the wrong price, and I couldn't get in. Brother, Pretty Panda, you typed in the wrong ticker. So just tag me again, brother, because I'm trying to enter that ticker, and it's XTAI is what you said, XTAI, but that's not coming up on my system. So unless it's a different one, brother, let me know. Zen Zombie says AUGO long call. Let's take a look at AUGO. Yeah. Huh. Not much in the way of trading on the day. $7 billion name, only having done 592,000 shares. It is down 4.5% on the day. I don't think that's what you're thinking. I think you're thinking definitely long term, having now looked at the chart. Let's take a look at this. AUGO, great call out there. We're going to see exactly what this company does. Let's see. Minerals, mid-tier gold and copper production, focus on development and operation of gold and base metal projects in the Americas. 5 operating assets, including Minosa Gold Mine in Honduras. They got one in, where else? Brazil. They've got another copper, gold, and silver mine in Mexico. They also own Herradura, which is in Guatemala. So they're all over the dang place. And they've got a gold project in Colombia, more stuff in Brazil, very diversified. Love this look, thank you. $7 billion name, as I mentioned. And this looks fantastic here. 77.5 is a definite buy. You're definitely getting a lot of buyers stepping in at 80 vis-a-vis these bottoming tail candles. I'm talking about the 27th of February, where the low was 80.16 and the high was 90. You got again today 80.72 with an 85.69 high. 80.72 is the low. So you're definitely getting buying at 80. I would be buying at 80, not financial advice. But I would also be looking to buy into 77 to 75 because that was a clear area top that we failed twice and then finally took it out on the 23rd of February. I like this look. It's a very in vogue name. Let's cut the crap. China and America are not going to become buddy-buddy because President Trump and President Xi are meeting next month. This minerals, magnets, precious metals, they're going to be in vogue for a long time, and there is so much that relies upon them. I don't know, the military-industrial complex, which is booming right now, needs all these things. Forget about chips and everything else, which we already know. So I'm definitely interested in the minerals. I already told you guys, I'm in MP, and I'm in TMC as well for a specific trade. TMC is very proprietary. There's really nobody else doing what they do, but the price action has to speak. And so far it hasn't. AUGO, I love the look. And a very, very nice diversification, not only in the type of metals that they're extracting and mining, but also in the geography, right? They're all over the Americas, and there's no one country concentration. So that gives you less of a concentration risk. Shout out to you, Zen Zombie. Good call on this one, and I like the look. $80 initial entry with more being added between 77.5 to 75. I hope you print up multiple storms. Like that. Get him, Joey.
Brian, man. Brian. Oh,
Let's see where that piece of crap TMC is.
Where's it
The
at?
metals company. Yeah, it's not a good look, Joey. Well, because they're unproven, bro. They need that authorization, and they still haven't gotten it.
Is that underground? The underwater?
Yeah, there's like these nodules, bro, that are living basically.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't even. Is that what it's called?
Something around those lines.
These nodules that are super, super densely packed with minerals, metals, magnets, and they're on the bottom of the seafloor. And there's only one company that has that whole mineral extraction, but they haven't gotten the nod from the regulator. So they need that nod, my boy.
Down with the bureaucracy. All right.
Down with the bureaucracy.
All right. No, in all seriousness, I think we run into 87 there, guys. Let's see what MF Dangerous, nice short. I'm going to give everybody their shout out, man. Let's get everybody here involved. It's been a roller coaster one for sure. Fortunate to come up on the positive side of things. Shout out to my boy Los Polios. Charles, what's up, brother? Charles with a Z. Chazlis, sorry, I definitely mispronounced that. MF Dangerous once again. Who else do we got in the chat? Mike Peter Riders in there. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Rally. Let's go, Joe. No position. Are they scared? Says Rajesh. My friend, no, man, no. I mean, hey, man.
What the hell?
Yeah, but Heliante is right. Like I don't think anybody's really that scared around here. Anyways, Real Jack Wagon, let's go, says my boy. Let's see how everyone else is doing in the chat aside from us. Put in those red or green. Are you red or are you green on the day? Let's get everybody involved. I'm gonna kick it off with that laugh face right there. Easy Media, what's up, my friend? Adam Duluth, when are you making a trip back to the city, man? It's been almost a couple of years since that guy.
October, it's gonna be a couple of years. He came October 24.
Is that when he came?
He
all
did.
Right,
yeah,
all right. So right on.
We know.
Ribby Millionaire, that's not too bad. I know you're usually cooking up Gore. My boy's green. Adrian Peterson, Patterson, sorry, not Peterson. We don't got AP in the chat. Another AP, but Stoney, very green. Who else do we got? A couple more shoutouts. Master, that's all right. Red, good thing there's tomorrow. Keep those losses small. We talk about that. Honestable, he says red as well. Bastone, not too bad of a look. I'm going to give the shout out. Sharif's. Yeah, we're going to keep going there, man. AT&T, my boy Stevenson. Hangry Wife, why not? What's going on? I'm up 8K on Mongo and MGC, says Larry Mason, my friend. Hey, man, if you don't need all of it, then, you can send some. Obviously being sarcastic. And then what's up, Becky V? Green shorting ZD, getting that check mark. Flat is green, I guess. Yeah, we'll take that for sure. And hello, says Apple G. Kings up 4K today, says Air Code. Man, nice. Good work, everyone. Trying to dial in on my trading. How often do you look into overnight inventory? Do you look at Asia or London, highs and lows? I don't, but there's a lot of people like Obi and Jose and Wainers. They all are really big on some of the other markets. We're going to head over to Adara, and then we'll do a couple more shout-outs.
Yeah, not to interrupt the shout-outs here, but I do have a couple stories I want to mention, Joe. So Nasdaq, of course, on watch here. This is near intraday highs. Nothing really Nasdaq specific, but I'll keep this chart up while I go over some stories. Israeli army reportedly saying they're not going to be stopping or leaving Iran, I guess, until Hezbollah is disarmed. They said they're determined to eliminate the threat posed by Hezbollah. Furthermore, Thrive Capital and Andreessen reportedly leading a $4 billion round of investment for Anduril, so it's going to be that defense theme again. Last but not least, Neil's here. Good timing because INTC is on watch. Intel story this morning with Infosys. Unclear exactly when this came out, but I'm seeing apparently the company just announced here, looks like as of today, its new Xeon 6 Plus Clearwater Forest data center CPU. So this has been introduced. Intel not moving too much here, but INTC on watch. And of course, anything in the defense space remains on watch. Back to you.
Perfect, thank you. So yeah, I think 87 is coming, incoming here on SES said that on multiple occasions, took profit on those Qs longs. I think we go low of the day today, says my boy Stevenson. Lewis, I mentioned very kind words from you. That's the type of stuff that we like, man. The positivity, because that's more infectious. We don't like that other stuff. So we'll hit the money for my boy Lewis. Hey, I was mentioning you because I've been through this occasion. I've been through this on multiple occasions. Just the fact that, hey, if you take a bigger loss, get on the phone with your broker or your platform and set that max loss so that you can't exceed that. Because I remember one time I hit my max loss on my personal account and I couldn't change it for 24 hours, and I was on the phone with the people yelling at them like, give me more of my money. And they're like, we can't, sir. The policy won't allow us to do so. And then after that, I was extremely thankful that they did not give me more of my money. So. Anyways, I have been in and out like 50 times today, going with 15-minute trend. All right, Lewis, nice work. Aside from that, guys, let's head right back into the markets. So what we got going on in the Nasdaq, I'm glad to just kind of put this on the side burner. We're going to take it off our charts momentarily. We had these small scalps in the earlier hours of the session. Then we take a loss. We take 2 losses, so we go 2 for 4 on that one, and then eventually we get a small scalp to the downside. And thankfully so, because we haven't got that continuous breakdown here in the Nasdaq, and I just don't really want to. Yeah, exactly. I just don't want to mess around with that. So there's going to be some more opportunities. Unfortunate that we didn't hold some more on SE. I was just like partial crazy at that dollar mark. Is when was my primary target. We left a little bit of a runner, and it's continuing to go. 1-800-GAMBLER, says Scott Tomlinson. See the thing, you see that one video where the guys are like, they call the gambling addiction hotline?
Oh, come on, dude, come on.
Oh, and it broke out.
It broke, and it's like, it's so stupid. It doesn't reflect the price action on my chart, but the spread is really wide. I'm complaining about NPT, guys. Pulled back into the 10 EMA, rocketing up now into the $0.25. The high of the day is 30, so we're like 3 pennies off the high of the day. I was just about to punch in on this one. And there was such a variance between what I was seeing on the white charts and the black charts, because the black charts weren't updating. But that was, yeah, it's a mistrade for me there. Sucks to be me. What was your question? Sorry.
That one video. It's like obviously a meme video where the guys call the gambling addiction hotline, and then they bet on.
I do remember that.
A man or a woman is going to answer the phone. So that's what it's all about. All right, yeah, Lemon's family. I think a lot of us know that strategy here. He says, I'm currently practicing a new trading strategy called donate to the market, and it's working really well for him. I mean, a lot of us have been a part of that strategy. That's one that you want to throw on the back burner. All right, Joyce Move, yeah, BMF fight this week. Who do you got? Man, that's a tough one, man. That's going to be a really good fight, I think, in my opinion. I don't have a dog in that race or in that fight. I'm happy if either one of them. I like both of those guys for sure. Silver, haven't even looked at Silver today. Let's take a look at what it's been up to. Has it been bleeding? No, an absolute chop fest. That's for sure. A whole lot of whoppery going on in SLV, and that's why I haven't been trading it. When we were on that nice, steady uptrend, it's rocking and roll. It was like punch long, have fun with it. Don't look at your position for a couple of hours, and sure enough, you were highly in the money or something along those lines. As of late, that has not been the case whatsoever, and with that being said, I've just been looking at my accuracy on the trade. It is not good, so I have not been trading that, and I'm heading towards that neck of the woods with the TQQs. We're going to look for some good quality earnings opportunities because there's still some names that we get to look forward to here this week.
All right, man. NPT's going. Great trade, Zion. Attaboy, man. He got the money fill there. Your boy Zion Lala picked it up. Where is Zion right there? How did I just lose that so quick? Oh. What's going on? I don't know. I don't see it. Anyway, I think he had like eight something there. 867, 887, something around there. But yeah, NPT into the high of the day, 9:30 it goes. So a couple of things I want to point out, guys. MOBX, I'm looking for a 71.5 penny break to get long on that. We have a more prolonged downtrend here on MOBX. Very clear lower high. It's suffering from that and can't seem to shake it. Looks like there's support at 65, so that's probably where I put my stop, probably at around 64. So MOBX going, but so's Turbine. TURB is really going over here with a 190 breakout, 209 high. This one's been a bamboozler. It pushed me out from this candle here at 11:45 when it dropped below the volume weighted average price. But 190, I feel there is a lot of support there. It hasn't decisively cleared too. So I'm not really going to base anything on that $2 area other than to say it's obvious area of resistance because the closing prints all at 197, 196-ish. In any event, this could be a money fill here at around 190. We'll see if it ends up coming down there, but here it is, 198 trying to break above 2 again with a 209 high. It's up 44.5%, so not a bad look at all. We're gonna keep a close eye on this one and see what we get, but I'd like to execute on NPT. NPT is a great looking rounded bottom. I'm involved in ETSA right now. We're a penny out of the money. I'm looking to see if we can take out that seller that comes in every time here at 75. I want to be alive to the lower highs on this. So I'm going to be kind of a super nitpicky here to see if we're making higher highs. Like this candle here at 1225 broke above prior high. We can't really seem to shake. Let's see. So high here, 71. How about this one, 71? So there's definitely a 71 seller and has been since we got into that, since that 1225 candle, which got into 74. So be on the lookout for that. I like how it's holding up at the 10 EMA. I'm not in love with the fact that it's not putting in higher lows, but it's clearly being bought up around the $0.50 with 1, 2, 3, 4 bottoming tail candles. Whether or not it breaks above the level, we're going to take the risk there. So that's what I'm looking at on ETSA. And look at ZD, man. We took this one for a neckline break. Look how much this one is giving up. I should have been more alive to the pre-market high. ZD is really falling off a cliff here with the volume weighted average price at 46, and this one just showed a 41.85 low. We were short around 47 and change, 47 and a half. So this is really going here. ZD, this looks like a mean reversion trade from hell. Shout out to the OB. He is the one. Canob, ZD, really bleeding here. And I don't know, where do we get? Possibly 40. 40 could be support, but guys, we closed out yesterday at 28 bucks. So this one can continue to give up some more here if it doesn't find support. I'm going to have to digress. Turbine, TURB, came back into 185, 190. There it is again. I would place a pretty stingy stop here. Now, this one has, at times, not every time, at times, wicked you out. I'm talking about the candle at 11:20, and I'm talking about the candle at 11:45. But it also has a tendency to make topping tail candles as well. If this isn't your type of trade because it's not as clean as, say, MOBX, that's fine, man. Steer clear of it. There goes NPT. Oh, boy. That really gets my goat. Shout out to you, Zion, man. I know you're printing on this. There it goes into 993. Look at the clean hold on the 10 here. There it goes right back into the high. This one could see 10 momentarily. We have a pre-market high of 1139 that we put in at 8:45 in the morning, so not that early on. And there was ample amount of volume too. By the way, that 8:45 volume bar, 524,000 shares. Just to give you an idea, the volume bar at 1250 that just closed, 85,000. So we had plenty of volume in the pre-market. Not to say that this one, was just taking out areas of illiquidity because there was no bid, no ask. No, there was plenty. There was lots of plenty there. So keeping an eye on that. Yeah, shout out to KT for the win 81. Brother, it's on me. I mean, I should have chased it. But the spread is also quite wide, right? 69 right now, 76 on the bid. It's on me. I should have been executing it on that, Jay. What do you got?
All right, good luck, man. What a run this thing has been on. Wow, yeah, this is a really nice trade here, a break through the volume weighted average price. And in the past hour plus, it's only put in 2 red candles in their small breath. So, I mean, this platform saying it was a green, so 1 in the past 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. over an hour and a bit. Now heading into $88 is SE, so another squeezing leg here going on in SE Limited, guys. So a nice trade there. I remember on an earnings report, it was one of my better trades for sure. 88 smackers right there, now only down 16%. An absolute monster recovery from the $78 low. That's 10 points higher. And then we're right back to where I initially shorted it in the pre-market. So that's when we got involved in this name. Let's see. At 8:40 this morning, and then we're right back to that neck of the woods running into a key support level. Let's see how we react. The market decided to take another leg down, but bouncing right off another support system, so keep an eye out on that one. There's a lot going on, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities. What has Tesla been doing? Not much on today's session. Who's driving the Nasdaq lower? And that's NVDA. So it's just really, really moving in tandem with NVDA and the TQQs. Moving forward, man, we've gone through a lot of names on the list. BBAI down to $3.79. Let's do this because we haven't done it yet, and I'm just rambling on about tickers. Let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here today, guys, as we are now north of $88 on, what's his name? SE. All right, trading terminal top performing, and then we'll take a look at some of how the individual, our stat tracker, all red today. Okay, materials leading the way down 2.8%, industrials down 2%, tech sector down 1.7%. The top ones are down a third, 0.5%, and a little bit more, 0.56% in the financial sector, all right? Now, as for the earnings reports after the bell, who do we have? Tuesday after the bell, CrowdStrike, let's go, GitLab, and then that's probably really about it. Workday, this thing's getting downgrade after downgrade, lowering its price target, etc. So not too good of a look. Wednesday's a pretty good lineup there. Broadcom, Rigetti, Okta, we like that. Webull, American Eagle, not too bad. And then we have Marvell, Costco, GoPro. Does anybody still use those?
You're not giving any love to Cracker Barrel reporting tomorrow, Joe? Like the world's favorite and least favorite stock for like 5 minutes at the end of last year?
I see. The thing is, though, Adair, I might have got mixed up by its logo there because I don't know if it switched and went back. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a Cracker Barrel. Yeah, way to come in on that one. That was a good job by me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So there it is. We'll take a look at the stock visualizer, guys. Make sure you get those votes in. SLV leading the way. Battle in second place with 84 subs. Circle, and then TPET. I think that's definitely Sharif's world. Never heard of that. And then MOBX as well, guys. So make sure you guys get those votes in. And then we're going to take a look at how all of us are performing in the stock portfolio tracker. Let's see where your boy's sitting at. Oh, we move a spot higher, down 5.65%. Adara leading the way now, taking, up 9% total there. A nice look at Adara. It's only a matter of time until Boeing gets rocking and rolling, but you have that Oracle short helping you lead the way. And then Starbucks up a staggering 6% from your entry. OB, Circle really hitting him on the nose, but Sidhu Space, 41% to the downside. Fabian with Majestic Silver. I mean, he's got this one. Bitcoin down 25%. Dollarama, we like that pick there, though, Fabian. Big Dollarama fans over here. Randy taking a little bit of a slide there. Sharif still holding up pretty good. Northrop leading him the way 20% plus. Thermo Fisher, and then Broadcom giving him a little bit of a tough time. Ramin, watch out for Netflix as it's continuing to climb a little bit higher. And your boy Joe, CrowdStrike doing me a little bit dirty. And who would have thunk that JP Morgan would be down 7% from my entry price? What kind of BS is that?
Yeah, they're on, see what your friend Jeremy said
yesterday? Yeah, he's on Warpath right now, man.
No, man, he was making comments. Yeah, he was talking about the war and stuff like that, but he was making comments about President Trump.
Was he?
Yeah, and the debanking. It's great. He's like, yeah, banks shouldn't be able to do that, right? And then he's like, but they can.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Jamie, man.
We'll get to it. It's on. It's one. I think it's the last story. One of the last stories on the morning note, guys. So keep an eye out there, guys. RXT is making a great move here. Shout out. I think it was Outlaw Trader. Yes, it was Outlaw Trader. I had to give you your due. What a move here for RXT. Great flat top break through that 230, 235, and you got it on volume. Alas, it's kind of slowing down now. That previous volume bar, the 1250 1255 candle, has 636,000 shares. Here it is coming into the high, 247. It's up 10 4/5, looking to go into 250. So great trade there for you, brother. Let me know how that goes. I stopped out of EDSA. I didn't like the lower high trend, so I got out break even on that. It's just, you know, look, there's bottoming tail candles there, which is fine, but I don't like the incremental lower high, lower high, lower high. If we kind of get a move into 375, 380, and we break through that level, I'll get involved, but I'm back into TURB here, and I'm looking for another attempt at $2. This one is putting in a nice trend. I like my entry. As I mentioned, that 190 felt like a flat top break initially because there was so many rejections at 190, not just earlier on, but again here from, say, 1220 to when we decidedly took it out at 20 to 1. So that one is in focus for me, but let's cut the crap, man. Zion Lala hitting, we're gonna hit the dollar club for your boy Zion because he took this well south of 9, and there it is, NPT, moving into 10.5. Great trade, Zion. Watch out here for loss of 10. Prior bar low on NPT, 946. Current bar low, 83. So you're still holding trend, and you breached prior bar high, which was 1047. Of course, the high of the day, 1050. Not by much, but a breach is a breach. So you've got RXT moving. You got NPT moving. What else? TPET, somebody mentioned that. I don't like TPET, guys, because this is the trend. It is very consolidative. Unless you're picking it up at around 160, you know, mid 160s and trying to ride it back up to the higher end of the range, it's not for me. But I do see the validity in, you know, trading it as a range there. I'm talking about TPET, and that's really it. MOBX just keeps on selling. We're going to keep extending that trend line, right? That lower high trend line is still very much intact, but I will be on the lookout for the breakout of that. If it does manifest during the midday show, we will be taking MOBX here. Now, I'm trying to kind of gauge where I'll get in. I was gauging around 71 pennies, but you know, maybe we'll go 70 here because we're significantly south of it. And the trend line now is showing around 66 and change. So a move into 70 would be substantially higher than the trend line. But I would insist on it being on a closing basis so that I don't get caught offside there. So that's all I'm looking at the moment. NPT coming back in there, Zion, and it could be another possible refresh or an add around the $0.50 because now the 10 EMA on the 5's moved up to the third of a dollar. 936 is where I'm seeing the 10 EMA, and as you can see, ever since it reclaimed the 10 EMA at about 1130, it has been awfully respectful of it. Watch out, though, because we just had a big move, so the reversion can be equally as big. Prior bar low, as I mentioned on this, 946. This could be a nice buy here for those who missed it at 950. I'll keep my eye out on this one, but RXT is continuing to go as well. So shout out to you guys. All right, super chat here from Adam James. Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. As soon as Arsenal scored an own goal on themselves, because that guy that complained about all the time, Hinakapié, he scored an own goal immediately. Immediately. He calls him Hinacrappy. Because his name is Hinakapié. You're supposed to say the A part, but it made me chuckle. Adam James, $2 super chat. Q's down 1.5%. Are they? Oh, wow, we recovered. Wow, yeah, that's how much I keep my eye on the market. Says nah today, fam. Noto. All right. Shout out to Adam James. You're hilarious, brother. What do you got, Joey?
Looking at the same thing, man. It's awfully chilly in here. I don't know. Where's Neil at? He can use.
I didn't touch the thing.
Yeah, it's been like this. The AC's been on essentially all day. I feel like, anyways, my toes are getting a little bit cold. I mean, I need to get the adrenaline rolling once again. It was a roller coaster here today, guys. We talked about what we had on the list. Aside from the Taylor Swift lyrics, we were only really looking at SE. I know, Adara, it's a running joke. They say that. Some people say that all I write on here is Taylor Swift lyrics, but again, TQs and SC were my primary. I took a small scalp, but that's all I've really traded here today. So yeah, that's what we got going on. You know, it's 105, right?
Yeah, but I'm not ready. I'm trading.
You're not ready?
I'm focusing on that at the moment.
You're hyper focused. All right, man.
You want to do the news?
I mean, we got Sia here.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Let's load up. Let's load up the news. I totally forgot Sia was here.
I don't want to just ramble on. All right, I'll let you guys get set up here. I'll be back momentarily, and then we'll start partying.
All right, kill it, Sia. Let's go.
Good afternoon. We're going to start with some of the affairs that are happening around the world right now. Oil tanker rates are currently exploding. You can see on my screen here, Strait of Hormuz is a very important and most critical oil choke points in the world. So oil prices have also jumped, with the global benchmark Brent crude briefly hitting $82, which is 61 pound a barrel on Monday, after at least 3 ships were attacked near the Strait of Hormuz at the weekend, and roughly 1/3 of the global seaborne crude, 19% of LNG and 14% of refined products flow through this corridor. So now benchmark very large crude carrier, that is VLCC, rates have surged to 423,736 per day, making a 94% increase from the levels on Friday. This is according to LSEG data. And U.S. gas prices are also set to jump as high as $3.35 per gallon. This is from a statement by Patrick Dehan, who is the head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy. And producers in UAE, Oman, Kuwait have not halted production, but are shipping bottlenecks and are tightening supply. Sharif, what do you have to say about this?
So we know world oil obviously is, the price of oil is determined by the world market, Brent, WTI, et cetera. But my understanding is the region that's going to get hit the hardest are the Asian refineries, because they basically rely a lot more on this raw material than some other. RXT is going, guys, into 251, so be on the lookout there. So Asian refineries, I think, are going to get hit the hardest here. I think this is going to have more of a material impact on Asia. Secondly, one of my concerns is about this whole Strait of Hormuz issue is you have very wide pronouncements now from the Iranian Republican Guard, right? Which is any ship, irrespective of, destination, source, whomever, everybody's going to catch hands, so to speak. Like, they're going to fire on any ship. So what ends up happening is insurance rates go through the roof. Now, I did see an earlier message from Neil that he put in the chat that the Trump administration was looking at possibly subsidizing some of these insurance costs that some of these shipping companies are going to have to deal with. If that's the case, that would probably help some companies going through there, but you gotta assume as well, it's probably just not the insurance costs, people's lives that are at stake here as they take their life in their own hands going through these these areas, Joey. So that's really all I have to say about that. I think the Asian markets or the Asian refineries get hit a little bit harder, and I think that there's some mitigating circumstances here with respect to federal subsidies for some of these insurance costs. Joe.
Yeah, we'll head over because I came in late on this one.
We're going to move on to another headline regarding the same issue, but about airlines are grounding flights in the Middle East. So major global airlines have suspended thousands of commercial flights as the conflict between U.S., Israel, and Iran is intensifying. There are security risks that are arising in the Middle East itself. I have family. They're stranded in Dubai as we speak. And Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways, Saudia, British Airways, Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, Air India, Wizz Air, United, Air Canada, and others have canceled and reduced flights across Israel, UAE, Bahrain, Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Iran. And several carriers have also suspended Tel Aviv routes until at least mid-March, while others are halted in Dubai and regional services are halted temporarily. The U.S. has also closed its embassies in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait as of this morning, according to a report by CNBC. And 2 new updates. Lufthansa is planning a repatriation flight from Oman. The company is sending a wide-body jet on behalf of the German government to bring German citizens home. This will either be on Wednesday or Thursday evening. And just a couple of minutes ago, via a U.S. official statement on X, U.S. is actively securing military aircraft and charter flights for Americans who wish to leave the Middle East.
That's good. That's good news there. That's obviously very good news. Also, shout out to the Emiratis. I think Dubai, or I think the Emirates at large, is covering the stay for those who are stranded. So if you were at a hotel, and an expensive one at that, because a lot of them are expensive, the bill for your extended stay is actually going to the Emirati government. So chapeau to them. I do like that. That's obviously a way to keep people interested in coming back to your country. Very much tourist destination are the Emirates, right? You got to not like this, obviously, for a lot of these carriers who are already kind of strapped for cash with tight margins. If they got to cancel flights, that obviously eats into that headline number for profitability and is really not a good look. So the sooner that this kind of gets resolved, obviously, I think the better. What I'd be looking for here is any sort of, stoppage or slowdown in the drone attacks to kind of give us the feeling that maybe the arsenal from the Iranian regime is kind of dwindling. We'll have to wait and see. Doesn't seem like that is the case yet, Joey, because I'm seeing a lot more attacks still. We're going to get Joe's opinion in a second. We got to send it up to Adara.
Yeah, we have a couple headlines here. DFTX on watch. This company is called Definium Therapeutics. A little bit of a spike here in decent volume, over 1 million shares traded. Marijuana Moment reporting that there's some expected FDA approval here with regards to psychedelics pilot program. Again, here, just to read the whole headline, Connecticut lawmakers approving a bill to expand psychedelics pilot program, expecting FDA approval. With that in mind, DFTX spiking a little bit, it appears, on this headline. I want to mention as well here, some more news coming out of the Middle East with Iran and Israel. Israeli military saying they identified launches crossing from Lebanon to the center and north of the country. Back to you.
So that DFTX, just so everybody understands, that's the former MindMed. So that we've been involved in for a long time. Do you believe in this psychedelic possibly as an alternative for some of these regular drugs?
I watched a documentary on it for the war veterans were using it. Stuff like that, psilocybin.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, yeah.
PTSD and stuff,
absolutely, so. And it's the microdosing game, from my understanding.
And a lot of people, I mean, are all about the microdosing stuff. Like, pretty sure you can, one of them is lion's mane. I'm pretty sure you can just get off of Amazon.
You can get it off Amazon. I took it for a little bit of time.
Did you take it? Yeah, right on.
I did. I didn't really get too much out of it. Well, not that I've noticed anyway. I was talking to Fabian about it. Fabian's a fan. Joey, do you want to comment about the airlines? And then we'll
absolutely. As CM mentioned, I mean, we have over 12,000 flights canceled, but that's ideal. That's what you want, right, from a commercial airplane standpoint. You don't want the loss of civilian life. Let it stick to in between the militaries. Obviously, you're going to have the odd missile coming through and everything along those lines. So I think that's the ideal thing to do. There's going to be a backlog, but the airports are relatively good at catching up on that.
Absolutely. All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Agree with that. Also, we also have to keep in mind that the elevated oil prices from Middle East are also going to compound pressure on airline profitability, right? It's a lot to consider here. Everything is going to be impacted. It's like a domino effect. And moving on to our next headline, Amazon AWS data centers are hit by drone strikes in the Middle East. This was confirmed as of yesterday, that is on Monday. AWS has confirmed that 2 data centers in the UAE and Bahrain were impacted by drone strikes that are tied to escalating Middle East conflict as we know it. And the company has acknowledged that the physical damage will result in a very prolonged recovery timeline. And key AWS services, including the EC2 virtual servers, S3 storage, and the DynamoDB database, has experienced elevated error rates and degraded availability. AWS is attempting to now restore the data that it's lost in service availability without waiting for the full facility restoration. And Amazon's retail businesses have also warned of delivery delays across places that have been affected by the war. That is Israel, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE.
We're going to talk here about Shopify, SHOP, pushing higher CFO of the company at a Morgan Stanley conference, saying that, quote, thousands more merchants will be going live on agentic applications in the coming weeks. So Shopify heading into that 120 level, currently trading at 119 halves, as its CFO takes the stage at a Morgan Stanley conference. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I do obviously concerned myself a little bit with the hits. I wonder if it was targeted or just happened to be, by accident. I'm not really sure. I do like how that they were able to kind of restore service pretty quickly by directing it or migrating the workloads to other AWS regions. That shows, that they have the capabilities to do that. Their retail business as well, according to the reports, is going to cause delays. We're talking about delays, obviously, in Israel, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates. Not surprised there. Lots of flights obviously can't get in and out. So if products can't come in to the country, that's something we have to expect. But to me, what the most important part was the delay was tried to be kept to a minimum, and they tried to direct it somewhere else and fix things.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just reading up on, Street. But I think it looks like there's an additional target, because you know how during times of war you try to target the energy places, but now you have these data centers that can be targeted as well too, right? You're having these blackouts, so it's like you have that lack of communication between whether it be military or even through civilians. So that's just another big time target. And we know with this AI build out, we have the United Arab Emirates Stargate essentially build out as well too. They got the NVDA chips, AMD, right? So they got a lot going on there. So I think it's just another big red target for some of these war plays, I guess.
Yep. All right, Sia, what do we have next?
Next, we're talking about Apple here. I'm honestly shocked by this price that I'm looking at on their website currently, Sharif. Apple has unveiled the iPhone 17e with a budget model starting at $599, which is undercutting the iPhone 17 priced at $799. The 17e keeps the 6.1-inch size but is upgraded to an A19 chip, newer C1X modem, tougher glass, MagSafe charging, and 256 GB starting storage. So the 128 does not exist here, which is double the last year's base capacity. And it also adds Apple Intelligence support, bringing an AI feature parity closer to higher end models. Apple has also updated the iPad Air, and it's moving from the M3 to the M4 chip and delivering up to 30% faster performance. And pricing is unchanged here as well. $599 for 11-inch and $799 for 13-inch. What do you have to say about this, guys?
I like the $599 immediately. The consumer is cash-strapped. iPhones are expensive, and you're really getting a good product for $599. You're not going to get the old chip. You're not going to get smaller storage. You're getting the A19 chip. That's, I think, the 16, so Joey's phone, I'm pretty sure that has the A19 chip. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I think this is the new one. I think has the A20, if I'm not mistaken, but the A19 chip, fantastic. You're also gonna get a faster modem, an in-house built modem, no longer relying on Qualcomm. What's up?
Nothing.
No longer we're relying on Qualcomm, the C1X. It's apparently you're also getting tougher glass. I like that, and it's Apple Intelligence ready if we get that before, we all croak. The point though is, this is trying to address a very obvious concern in the market right now, that cost of living is going up. So I think you're getting a good product here for that. Now let's go to the iPad Air. I just got my Mom Dukes, the iPad Air with the M3 processor. I guess this is gonna get upgraded to the M4. Now my old man, he's got the basic iPad, right? So I think that has the A18, if I'm not mistaken. Big difference between using my Mom Dukes' iPad and my old man's iPad. It's just far better with the M3. Stands to reason the M4 will be a lot better, and it's 30% faster apparently, and the price is unchanged, which is also really good. Now, this is not what I want to see the most out of these 3 days here of launches from Apple. I want to hear more about the cheap MacBook, right? I think that could definitely eat in to the PC market. $799 US, of course, it's being slated at coming in at. And I think a lot of people, if they had the choice to spend $799 on a PC laptop or $799 on a Mac, an Apple laptop, I think, that's just my opinion, most people choose the latter as opposed to the former. We'll see. Time will tell, and the top line revenue will tell. I am concerned about Apple, okay? Because we heard that the smartphone market is not going to be as good in 2026 as it was in 25 because of the RAM, the cost of RAM. That concerns the hell out of me.
Okay.
Everything Apple does, breathes, and is, I'm exaggerating for effect, comes to do with this thing right here. If they can't make as many of these and continue to take like the 50-some-odd% gross margins on these, I am concerned. All right, the Apple intelligence, I think, will eventually make it out. You know, I was talking smack for just because to vent a little bit, but this is actually a concerning thing.
Rightfully so.
It is, because you're hearing that the handset market's going to get clipped if you believe the analysts in 26.
Yeah, I mean, first thing, let's start here. So $599. I want that. The first question, you have that budget iPhone. What does that mean for margins? But also, we know, as you mentioned, as we mentioned before, Sharif, we had a substantial year in growth in iPhone 17 sales. That was absolutely phenomenal. So this can either boost it or work in the opposite direction.
Right.
Now, as for the RAM, I think that's definitely going to come into factor. We know that, I believe it was the wearables and tablets didn't meet growth expectations, slightly low.
You're right.
So a cheaper, whether it's an iPad or a cheaper MacBook, could also be a boost for Apple as well, too. But I think what we really, really are still waiting for, and it's been a couple of years now, is the release of Apple Intelligence and how they're going to interpret Gemini into the iPhone.
Can I say something? Everything you said was absolutely accurate.
Yeah.
I want to build on one point, though. The upcoming AirPods, if you believe...
You're about the camera in them.
Exactly. Apparently, there's going to be that fisheye lens. Okay, so before I get into that, Apple's working on an AI. It's a visual AI product. So apparently, there could be a pendant. There could be the glasses and the AirPods.
So
if I had to guess, though, Joey, I think the AirPods come out first.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's a natural way to kind of view your environment, right? By having fisheyes on both sides.
So what is it? These fisheyes are supposed to be able to determine around, like, scan our environment, view your environment, say, like, hey, this is that, this is that.
Not just that, you know, that would be super simplistic and wouldn't be worth doing.
Do you think that is a needle mover, though? Just like having,
for the wearable segment.
For the wearable segment.
I'm not saying, hey, it's going to be iPhone replacing. That's crazy.
No, that is crazy.
But for the wearable segment, because you brought up a very good point, wearables have been missing expectations. I think the last couple of earnings, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't just one, it was a couple. So that, I think, does move the needle.
So what are we thinking here? Vision Pro, maybe a little bit to the side, focusing more on spectacles, like glasses, or something along those lines?
I think, you know what I view Vision Pro as? Proof of concept of the technology, but not a mass marketable product. Nobody wants to wear a shoe on their head. And a lot of people complain that it hurts their head after a while because it's freaking heavy.
Extremely heavy. So what I find interesting is that we know that Zuck has his glasses out, but you need the Neuroband, right? So what can Apple do to keep the same technology but get them into just like basic frames?
Well, that's what Apple Vision Pro is.
What the
Do you know that you look and click,
and then you look and click, no other device, not the pendant that you're talking about?
No, the pendant will be a separate product.
Separate product.
But my concern is, can you have that point and click on a wearable as small as that, or you have to have a shoe on your face? You know what I mean? Like, in any event, we digress, and we're going back to see you.
We're going to talk about Target, but before I talk about Target, a very quick update. Virgin Atlantic has plans UAE, Saudi Arabia, flights, carriers, Oman. So Virgin Atlantic is planning to resume service between London Heathrow and Dubai and Riyadh on Tuesday. This is the current update that we've received. And the carrier warned that customers, there could be last-minute changes, obviously, due to warnings and anything related to the war. Coming back to Target, TGT has reported Q4 adjusted EPS of $2.44 versus $2.16 expected, which is a solid earnings beat we can see here. But the revenue has come in at $30.45 billion versus the $30.48 billion that was expected. Missing certain estimates, it's down 1.5% year over year from $30.92 billion. Net income has fallen to $1.05 billion, which is $2.30 per share from $1.10 billion. And transactions have fallen 2.9% year over year. Average ticket prices have increased just 0.4%, which is what's telling us here is that there's weaker traffic rather than pricing power. And customer traffic has fallen for 4 consecutive quarters in store as well as online. And shares are down 32% over the last 3 years. 16% up year to date, however. And company is expecting 2% net sales growth for the full year. Full year adjusted EPS guidance is $7.50, between $7.50 to $8.50 versus the prior year when it was $7.57. And non-merchandise sales have jumped 25% in Q4, and this is driven by three factors mentioned. Membership revenue is more than doubling year over year, double-digit growth in Roundel advertising, and 30% growth in third-party marketplace sales.
Thank you, Sia. Guys, MobX is going. Okay, the breakout is on now. The trend line is broken. It's very obvious that the lower highs are done, and there it goes into the high of the day. Aggressive selling into 75 pennies. This is going to be a key area of technical resistance, that 75 penny area, especially on these, penny stocks. This is sub $1. Be on the lookout though. The breakout here was kind of, this is what caught me off guard, or got my attention, excuse me. That 115 candle right there, taking out prior bar high, breaking above the trend line. So MOBX should be in focus for the small cap traders now. Now, let's talk a little bit about Target. Katina Man says, look, Target's up. I like this, but I think it's one of those ones where the street was expecting a lot worse. Because look at this, comparable sales down 2.5%, kind of partially offset by the 1.9% increase in online online growth for e-commerce. Fine. We don't know though whether the decline in the ticket price was the same. The decline in comparable sales and how much money they were generating from that was buoyed by the increase of 1.9% of e-commerce. We don't know. We just know that comparable sales fell 2.5% and e-commerce grew 1.9%. But there's no way to tell if customers are buying the same amount in the store or online. That I don't like. Transaction revenue or transactions fell almost 3%, with the average ticket price only increasing 0.4. So it's not like you can say, all right, well, we have 3% less, checkouts, but it makes sense and everything's gravy because people are spending more on per ticket. They're not. They're only spending 0.4% more. And to me, that makes sense because of consumer squeeze. Customer traffic has also fallen for 4 straight quarters, both in store and online. Anyway, it's up 16% year to date. I think it's up more now. Let's have a look at where this monster is. I've got to go to my consumer defensive. TGT is now up 24% on the year and 7.5% up on the day. Let's continue to go through this. They did right-size the company by sadly laying off about 1,800 jobs in October. They're looking at addressing more or spending more to address the out of stocks and checkout delays. Non-merchandise sales. This is interesting here because this is going to be a way higher margin product, up 25% in Q4. So that's membership revenue more than doubling. These are higher margin products. Let's be honest about it. Double-digit growth in that Roundel advertising. That's probably an 80 or 90% gross margin products just based upon what Google and Meta and Amazon now are making in their advertising. We can kind of superimpose that here. And they grew Target 360 with same-day delivery. That grew 30% year over year. So it's not just Walmart and Amazon that can kind of get you the same product or the product same day. Target threw their hat into the ring as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sharif. I mean, food and beverage, beauty and toys driving sales growth. We talked about that here. Full year guidance. Unfortunately, revenue is down, so that's not too good of a look year over year, 1.5%. But other than that, gross margin 26.6%. Is that good for a retail store, I wonder?
Pardon me?
A gross margin sitting around 26.6%.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Joey.
Pretty, I would think so, right?
We're around like 21.5, 22.
Oh, yeah?
So that's way better than us.
Yeah, okay. Who's, as in we?
My family.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, but yeah, aside from that, the staples was definitely in play for quite some time. We'll go over the technicals here on TGT and see what we got going on. So a strong session today. Strong session today. I think Katina Man was getting involved in this one here.
Katina Man owns it in the personal.
Yeah, he owns it in the personal from November 21st. You're up a whopping 44%, so a nice move there in Target. And I mean, we talked about it stints here in Canada. It didn't last very long. I think it was their second time around, and now they're boarding mission once again.
KC 520 frickin' 6. She's printing on MobX. Couldn't be more happy for you, Case. Thank you also for the 10 Trader TV Live gifted memberships. Shout out to KC526. She's always giving back. hell of a woman there, and a great small cap trader. So if you're in the chat, you're interested in the small caps, and I'm crapping the bet on the day, keep your eye on KC520. You should be keeping an eye anyway because she's a hell of a trader. And I want to point out, who got it? Benton, my man, you got a free Memby. Lewis, Julian, you got one. Kenny D, 2600. How about Jeremy Laws and Derek Anderson? All you guys, look in the chat to see who got the free membership. Now you guys can get my morning note every single morning, posted bright and early before we go live at 8 a.m. Just weasel on over to the Trader TV Live homepage on YouTube. There are the tabs there at the top. Click posts, then mosey on down to where it says members only. You're going to only see this red rectangle that says members only if you're a member. And sadly, you know, the thumbnail today had more belligerencies. Hit that read more and click the link there. It takes you to the Google Drive, and now you'll be able to kind of see exactly what we've got on tab because I put in a table of contents so you can kind of skip over what you don't want to read and get right to where you want to read, and it's clickable, by the way. So make sure to check that out, and thank you very much to KC526 for doing it live. Joey.
Yes.
Oh, we are. We send it back to Sia. My bad.
Sending it to Sia.
No worries. Best Buy has beat EPS, reported Q4 adjusted EPS of $2.61 versus $2.47 that was expected. Revenue has come in at $13.81 billion versus $13.88 billion, which was expected, which is down from $13.95 billion. Net income has surged to $541 million, which is $2.56 a share, from $117 million, which is 54 cents a share itself. And Best Buy's near-term macroeconomic challenges also include a certain memory shortage that is hitting the computing market and a certain stagnant housing market. This is coming directly from Chief Executive Corey Berry in a media call today. The first year revenue outlook, $41.2 billion to $42.1 billion, compared with the $41.69 billion last fiscal year.
Yes, I was just typing.
Yeah.
All right, here's the deal. Lackluster. Corey Berry, CEO, consumer electronics demand remain lackluster, or they were last holiday season. He's trying to blame it on the consumer not spending money on big ticket items. I can't say I'm shocked about that, but he also says, look, housing activity remains weak, and the cautious consumer, they're not buying appliances, which these guys sell, let's be honest about it, right? It's not just TVs and computers and whatnot. So they're big ticket items and TVs. You know, if you move into a bigger place, Joey, you're going to want a TV. Not everybody's got a 75-incher there.
Yeah, I know. We got the 75. But let me tell you.
Got a hell of a TV, by the way.
I'll tell you one thing, though, Sharif. We didn't get it at Best Buy.
You didn't get it? You got it online?
No, sir.
Where'd you get it?
Actually, we ordered it Walmart.
I was swear to you, I was just about to say Walmart. Walmart's got better deals. Let's be honest about it.
Dude.
Best Buy's got more selection.
Bro, dude, that TV was $600.
Yeah, it's amazing, bro. It's so good.
It's a Roku. Yeah.
Katina, man, they've dropped off a cliff, some of these 75 inches.
Man,
I know you bought one about 3 years ago now, but they've really dropped in price. Yeah, he has, Katina Man, is it OLED, Katina Man? It's Q. The OLEDs I really do like because each pixel has its own light, so you get those true blacks, which, anyway. So sluggish housing activity being blamed here. Apparently, though, advertising partners nearly doubled year over year, and that is their best and most high margin business. We keep saying the same thing. I just said that about Target as well. But that is the truth. We know advertising revenue, you take the bulwark of that money home, it's like high 80s, low 90s in terms of gross margins. So third-party marketplace as well, Joey, which they launched in August, has seen increased product assortment, which is interesting. That's kind of like the Walmart, Amazon third-party seller kind of twist there. So you're I don't know, you get a lot of stuff from China. You got a great deal on some prices, but you don't want to be like in this isolated market where no one can find you. You go on Best Buy's marketplace and you put your product out there, and they take a piece. You know, just like a mob boss. You know, he gets a little bit of a piece there, Joe.
But that's isn't that what we call extortion?
No, it's called business, bro. What are you talking about?
Right.
Let's get to this super, though. Big up to the massive, I think he meant Team Trader TV, Joey. Want me to say, all right, maybe I shouldn't let you do that one because you're the Jamaican guy.
No, because you're saying it right. So massive them trader. Mixed up a little bit. Joe, what me say? Just chilling over here, man. 6,800 on the SPX. Thanks for your training. I'm up 2,600 on the day. Hopefully it's not 2,600 Jamaican dollars, my friend, because that's not worth too much. No, I'm obviously playing around with you. Congratulations on that one, T-Rob. Way to cook up, my friend. 20 bucks. We'll take that. And congratulations on the $2,600 day.
Yes, sir. We have to go back to Adara, though, because Adara, we kind of forgot to mention that. Adara, why don't you give us your perspective, please, on Target?
Left alone, all abandoned up here. Also, for what it's worth, Best Buy CEO was a woman. Corey Berry, that is a woman. So shout out to female CEOs everywhere. Lisa Sue, my girl Corey Berry, and Julie Sweet of Accenture, just to name three. Let's get into Target, though. Let's get back on Target here. TGT. I want to talk here about some trends I've noticed. If you guys kind of have noticed, a lot of what I've been doing lately on TTV research and just for my own purposes is kind of looking more at these quarterly earning reports at a larger scale, like what did the whole year tell us? So this whole year, I mean, TGT, worth noting, relatively stagnant revenue for the first 3 quarters of the year, especially Q2 and Q3, but Q4, nice quarterly breakout here when it comes to revenue. But if you look at here at merch sales versus non-merch sales for all of the quarters, there is a distinct difference here. I mean, merchandise sales relatively, down roughly 1-2% each quarter. Merchandise sales, though, non-merch sales, they're growing exponentially, not exponentially maybe, but certainly sequentially. So you go from 13.5% year-over-year growth, then you got 14.2% growth Q2, Q3, 17.7% growth, Q4, 25% growth in non-merch sales. So this is significant and something I'll be watching heading into Q1 and fiscal year 2026. Furthermore, you see this pattern as well with comparable digital sales, not to the extent of the non-merch sales, but I think certainly worth noting here too. Still, comparable digital sales are the only comp sales that are actually growing year over year on a consistent basis each quarter. So you've got 5.7% growth Q1, 5.3% Q2, 2.4 Q3, and Q4 you got 1.9%, whereas you are seeing declines in both comparable sales and comparable store sales. So yeah, there's comp digital sales and non-merch sales. These are both 2 metrics I will be watching heading into the next fiscal year. Furthermore, more news out of Iran. You've got the U.S. considering naval escorts for oil tankers, and Politico reporting, I guess that the U.S. considering this military protection for tankers in the Strait of Hormuz specifically. We're gonna head over, I think, to Sia for the next story.
Yeah, thank you for covering that, Dara. Moving on to our next headline. On Holding. On Holding has reported Q4 net sales of 743.8 million Swiss franc, up 30.6% year over year. Full year sales have surpassed 3 billion Swiss franc for the first time, and the company is expecting 2026 net sales growth of at least 23%.
I don't like the shoes. I'm just going to be quite frank. I see them all the time. I have a lot of gym shoes, and none of them are on. And none of them are Hoka. I don't like that whole, right? I like to stick with my Nikes. I like my Nike Air Maxes. I like my Nike Shocks. I'm willing to pay a premium price for them. I don't like this brand, okay? And I don't really have anything positive to say, so I'm just going to stay quiet.
I think it's just another brand in a flooded space, in my opinion. You know where I stand on that. I've had the same Under Armour running shoes for probably 7-8 years now.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you don't beat them up then,
You don't beat them up,
yeah.
just straight on. I won't be purchasing any on. I think they're sold at the Black Toe running stores here in the city. But yeah, I'm in Sharif's path. I think it's just a crowded space. I wouldn't be surprised. You need a high quality product, in my opinion, in order to stay afloat in this. And Under Armour's been on the downside of things.
I've never owned Under Armour shoes.
I
remember the Curry's
one pair,
right?
Dude, I got them at the Dixie Outlet Mall years ago on sale, right? And they're still lasting me. But I just think these brands come and go, and this might be one of them, to be honest with you.
It's not for me. I don't like the designs, but a lot of you guys like it. Like, same shirt guys, Nikes don't fit me well. Flux shoes are really nice, interesting. I know I see a lot of you guys saying, the Hokas are great, says John Lamb. Yeah, I respect that. My mom, Dukes, loves the Hokas, right? She does a lot of walking. She's all about that Hoka life. I hate them. Okay? I don't like the way that they look and all padded and fat at the bottom. Like, what the hell is...
You know what I will say? I got a pair of Nike running shoes that didn't even last a year. And they fell apart.
I've never had that problem, Joey. I basically buy two types of Nike shoes, the Air Max 90s, and I can get the Shocks.
And I'm talking about like actual like distance running, not like your basic like.
No, well, I don't wear them outside.
As the Americans would like to call them tennis shoes.
I don't wear them outside.
Tennis shoes.
Yeah, no, I wear them inside. The ones that I do, when I do run outside, which is like maybe once a month in the winter, I use the Metcons, the Nike Metcons. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're for CrossFit.
No. But somebody here is saying, Sharif, Honest Superior was a Nike loyalist for years, just switched on. You should try them out. Says,
I respect it, man. Yeah. They can't be that bad, and the company be worth $14 billion, and see them in every store. I'm just saying it's not for me.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I just don't like them. What do we got next?
I wanted to touch on something here. Take a couple steps back with Best Buy. How much do we think that the e-commerce sector within Walmart and just the ability, just the online delivery and within Amazon is actually chewing up into some of Best Buy's revenue? It's usually the more expensive store. I feel you can get better discounts at Walmart, and you can find a lot of the same products aside from like your dishwasher and stuff.
Right.
They're not going to typically sell there. And you see a lot of the Best Buys getting into the Express, so like changing into the Best Buy Express. So like small,
mostly,
right? Yeah. So like the smaller store, obviously, if the brick and mortar is slowly starting to cool down, right? Smaller footprint, right? You're not having that large rental expense.
Yeah, big time. All right, Sia, what are we talking about next?
We're talking about AST. ASTS has reported a net loss of $74 million on $54.3 million in revenue. And a year ago, the company has posted much smaller $35 million loss on $2 million in sales, which is highlighting a rapid revenue ramp, but also it's clear that there is some heavy spending going on over here. And CEO Abel Avean stated that Q1 2025 marked AST's shift into a revenue-generating business. And for 2026, Wall Street is expecting $227 million in revenue and net loss of $326 million.
Ian, you're killing me, bro. That was a good one, Ian. I had to give you that one. All right. Where's Ram at, man? Get well, Ram. We miss you, girl. But any event, AST SpaceMobile was one of her picks, and it's getting clipped today. What I like about this right away is they're looking to expect the sale of its space-based direct-to-device network, and they're moving away, Joey, from what they started as the company, which was that commercial, activation towards a broader rollout. So which was basically them, shuttling things to and from space. We've been talking a lot more about this. This could be very disruptive to telecom, where you have these low Earth orbit satellites that have 5G and possibly even 6G connectivity. And I think that unless these telecom companies like Verizon, like AT&T in Canada, like Bell and like Rogers, TELUS, unless they partner with some of these satellite companies or put it in themselves, which I doubt, I think that they're ripe for disruption. And every time we talk about these companies that are putting these low Earth orbit satellites into space, it just keeps reminding me about the possible short on these telecom companies, which, quite frankly, from what I understand, especially from reading a lot about it, they're not great businesses to run at the moment with dwindling margins. They're having to compete with one another for subscriber growth, and these competitions between one another are driving margins down. So I don't like it from that perspective, and I don't like it from the perspective that they're ripe for disruption through these low Earth orbit satellites, whether you're talking about Blue Origin, SpaceX, AST, SpaceMobile. That's kind of my look there.
Do you think that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for some of these? We know Rogers is getting involved in this, but didn't Pierre Elliott Trudeau sign something with the telecom companies back in the day?
Like
we were
dad?
talking. He did something he did something with the telecom companies. So it makes it more difficult for outside companies to come in.
You're talking about the protectionist. That's why Donald Trump keeps saying that Canada is impossible to deal with, right?
Exactly.
Because we have so many protectionist things for the milk, the cheese. There's so many industries that are shielded from American competition because let's be honest about it.
No,
the Americans come in, they're going to decimate our companies.
They're going to eat our lunch, right? Because we pay the most amount of a lot of countries for our gigabytes, right?
Yeah.
We pay in a substantial
What are you paying,
amount.
if you don't mind my asking?
Well, because I got the phone, I'm at $100.
Okay, I'm paying 67 because I didn't get the phone though.
Yeah.
I didn't get the phone. I got 67.
You paid for the phone outright.
I paid for the phone outright.
Yeah.
No, I get it through a firm. I'm paying 60 some odd a month from a firm. My plan, 100 gigs. I got unlimited North America, unlimited texting, and that's it. That's all I really need. I pay 67 a month, including tax.
With your firm thing as well?
No,
Okay,
add
so
to that. That's another 60
onto
something,
that.
yeah.
Okay. And you know what they do now these days is that after your contract's done, they say you essentially lease it. So after the 2-year plan, because remember before they used to make you lock into it was like a 5-year, 3-year, or 5-year. Now it's down to 2 years.
You got to buy it out now?
Now you have to buy it outright after, right? So that's where
I just didn't see the point of going through the telecom company when I can go straight from Apple and go through a firm.
Pretty much.
Zero interest. The only way a firm makes money on you is if you miss a payment, and that ain't gonna happen.
No, yeah, exactly.
Shout out. All right, sorry. I realize we're a little bit behind today on the super chats. I do apologize, guys. Shout out. Let's shout them out here. ZKRRT dropping $19.99 of something there. Sharif, I posted super chat 10 minutes ago that SPX is going to 68.25. There it is. I see indicators of a market recovery, and we could see the SPX reach 68.25. What do you think, Sharif? Let's have a look.
His name is right there in the bottom left-hand corner.
It's okay. I like Sharif.
Sharif.
Good to the man likes it as well. Let's take a look at the SPX, Joey. So we're going to go to the index. There is the SPS index. Sorry, Assassino, can we put that back up, brother? That last one, 68.25, I believe. 68.25. So here we are. We're at 68.13. That's a hell of a bottoming tail candle, hammer candle that's forming right now. 68.25. Yes, I see what you're looking at. You're looking at the opening print from yesterday, which was 68.23, 68.24. I completely see what you're saying there. Let's see, man. Let's see. The high of the day today, though, brother, is 68.18. So we would have to breach the high of the day. Let's take a look intraday to see where we're at here. Where's the 15 showing? All right. So to get to 68.25, let's throw that line right there. I don't think that's beyond the realm of possibility at all. You got that flat top break through 6,800 once, twice. Obi, he is the one thrice, 3, 4, and then on the 5th attempt at 12:15-ish, you're getting a break. Brother, you're only 10 points lower now from that 68.25, 68.15 with prior bar high being 68.18. So if it goes this way, we're certainly going to see 68.25, but you never really know how the market's going to act. And that's what I meant by the closing, by the opening print yesterday from on the SPX. Look at how it opened at 68.25, and when all was said and done, on that 15-minute bar, mind you, we were about 68.34. We ended up closing out, though, as you can see here. I don't even know where we closed out because it's not showing me. All right, well, we'll have to get rid of that. I like our chances. I like our chances of getting to 68.25. Obviously not financial advice. I hope you print up multiple storms. Shout out to Skirt. Drop in 19.99. What's SAR, Joe? You know what SAR is?
No.
You want to check a little bit there?
I could check for you.
All right,
sure.
I got another super here. On sneakers. Shout out to Sports and Stonks, dropping a 199 super chat. On sneakers, less than dress shoes. The gym is for doing work.
Jeez.
I like that. There you go.
I must confess, the past little while, just because of my knee, I've been super lazy. Flip-flops in the gym, man.
Hey, bro. You wouldn't be the first. You'd get booted at my gym, though, for wearing flip-flops.
Yeah?
Yeah, because liability.
Yeah,
you don't want to drop it on your foot. Not like it makes a big difference.
Right?
It's going to fall on the cloth top, but they'd come around politely.
Dude, even at LA, like those lazy late nights, I would just rock the flips.
You would rock the flip. Yeah, because LA is huge. Nobody's around.
No one's going to say anything.
Bro, I hate the gym culture at LA Fitness. Yeah. They don't have, that person walking around.
It depends. Some of them do. Junction is good with that.
Okay, well,
Junction is good.
Where I live,
and the Dixie and Eglinton is pretty good, but some of the other ones are horrible. Yeah. Like Dixie and Dundas. Horrible gym to
horrible
go to.
Gym,
Horrible.
The one by my place, it just had such
and
bad.
That's like Altia, man. Altia is hot garbage. I don't even. Sorry, Brendo. But I mean, I can't.
If you found out how much he was paying for Altia, you wouldn't say that.
Exactly. He gets everything.
Way less.
He's like grandfathered in essentially, right?
He's right from the get-go.
Exactly.
Him and his wife got that.
Super chats are flooding in here today.
Oh my days! All right, that's yours, Joey. Let's go. Let's take a look at SoFi.
SoFi long 10K. All right, you got 10K. 1803 trailing stop is in. Bro, All right, man. Let's take a look at what we got here going here on SoFi, bro, and see what it is. 1809. Hey, we'll take it. That is a big time move there, my friend. Nice work. Make sure that stop is in trailing stop, whatever it may be. Way to rock and roll there, your doorman. Much appreciated, brother.
There goes MOBX into another high of the day, 81.94. It's essentially an 82 penny, excuse me. Guys, this one could squeeze into $1. Be on the lookout here. It's been a great trade, up 357% on MOBX on the day, and it looks like it's got more to offer. Great trade by KC526. I had a whole bunch of trades on this one as well. I should have done a little bit better on it, but hey, we're not gonna hate on that. Just before we get back to Sia though, to talk about Riot, we're gonna go to Adair with news.
Yeah, we've got some more comments about the Iranian military saying they shot down and jammed an Israeli Hermes 900 drone. But I want to talk here about VZ or VZ Verizon popping here into new high of days. Nice little breakout for Verizon as we get Wall Street Journal reporting that the company recently considered pulling back on its NFL sponsorship deal. Clearly the market, if not knowing quite how to react to it, it is making some kind of reaction to this news here on Verizon, potentially pulling back on its NFL deal. Back to you.
ASTS,
oh, no, it's Sia. Yeah.
Oh, so okay.
We can go to you. Okay, we're just going to quickly cover this. I'm going to throw it back to Joe. Riot Platforms is slipping, has reported a Q4 net loss of cents per share on the 152.83 million in revenue, and this is according to Benzinga. Shares have slipped about 1.3% in extended trading to 16.22. And total 2025 revenue has risen to $647.4 million from $376.7 million in 2024. And it has produced 5,686 BTC, which is up from 4,828 BTC in 2024. And Bitcoin mining revenue has increased to $573 million versus $312 million as of last year, and engineering revenue has also climbed to $64.7 million compared to $38.5 million in 2024. And just to end this all, cost to mine 1 BTC, that is excluding depreciation, has risen to $49,645, which is up from $32,216 in 2024.
That's the point I wanted to talk about. You hit the nail right on the head, Sia. If it's costing Riot $50,000 to mine 1 Bitcoin, all right, sure, it's profitable for them now because Bitcoin's still holding up above. But if we do that same sort of retracement that we've been doing 2020, 2013, 2018, 2022, they were all 70 to 80%. And as we've talked about, Joseph and I, many times, you know, I had a bias that this would hold up. Once it broke the levels, I have to change my bias. I can't be insane, right? And here's what we're talking about. So there is, if I can show this assassino, please, the high. That was October 7th. I can't believe it went on your birthday. It's still unbelievable. 100, if you guys know the bet between us, it's supposed to hit 125 on my birthday. It hits on Joey's birthday. I have no idea what kind of odds that are. Everyone's saying 165. I disagree. 165? No, it's like 1 in 365 because it's like based on the day. I think the fact that you and I agreed. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road again. Basically, what we're looking for here, let's take this trend line. Let's go to the highs at 126 and change. And what kind of retracement? Okay, well, we got to zoom out more. We got to go the weekly then because it's not showing me on the daily. Here it is, 126. We move down. 70% is 36,800. If we go down to 80%, then we're looking at 25,000. Now, we'll see. We'll see if it even does that. But I do have a bias that this does lose 50 and does that whole kind of, you know, larger retracement like it's been doing for a number of years. If it does, think about, you know, how much out of the money there'll be for mining. Do they continue to mine? And why the hell is the cost of mining up like $18,000 on the year? It was $32,216 to mine 1 Bitcoin in 2024, and that cost rose up to $49,645 in 2025. Like so.
Energy costs. The better rigs. The halving, I think. Hold on, the halving was 25 or 24? Fabian, the halving, Bitcoin halving, 25 or 24?
April of 24.
24?
Yeah,
24.
April of 24.
So then, yeah, and that was all of April. So that would have been reflected in their 2024 costs, right? Because that's early in 24.
I think maybe
I don't know what the hell is going on
the
here.
cost of energy, the increasing of the rigs, like you have to constantly update your mining rigs, right? Because they're getting better and better. So I mean that adds up quick, essentially, right?
I'd like to see what it was in 23.
I don't think, and I've said this for quite some time, I don't think that the mining play is the route to go, just obviously with the increase, especially if you're looking for Bitcoin exposure. The only way that I can see it really being that play is that you have a substantial price increase that we didn't experience so far in this halving cycle. So it needs to be in that specific cycle because we know that the reward per exahash is going to be once again slashed in half at that next cycle. So what you would need is that massive dramatic increase to the point where the cost of mining stays relatively the same, but the value of Bitcoin is drastically increasing.
I think Gemini is hallucinating here because I asked it what the cost was in 23 and it told me 3,800. So I want to see what it says. Oh, wow, it got it right. Look at this.
Yeah.
So it says 24, the cost was 32,216.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's telling me in 23, the cost to mine a single Bitcoin was $3,800.
Then everybody would do that.
That's got to be, I can check with a different LLM to see whether it's kind of offbeat there. That doesn't really change anything.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, if the Bitcoin drops, even to 50,000, it's going to be a break-even endeavor for them, at least in the short term. So have they properly? I don't think so, dude. Like if that 2023 number is right at 3,800, I'm going to double check with a different LLM in a second. Then it always made sense for them to mine, right? Because Bitcoin hasn't been at $3,000 in like 15 years.
But if that was the case, if it was $3,800 in 2023. I think the valuation of these companies would be significantly higher.
Well, they've all been, their valuations have been clapped because I think the cost of mining is going up clearly here, as we've seen.
Wendy's Tendies put in a set of valid point, right? And it was a genuine question on my behalf. He said, it's tough to compare this cycle to previous cycles because there's been new features implemented with the ETFs and the treasury plays. That's absolutely, I agree with you on that front. The Bitcoin ETF, the IBIT, BlackRock, iShares ETF was definitely the most successful ETF launch of all time. You can now trade options on IBIT, so you can get exposure that way through the derivatives market within Bitcoin. But what we're looking at is that this asset essentially shrugged that off and says it doesn't really care, and it's just gone to its previous kind of like cyclical ways. Give me 1 second here, Adara. And what I mean by that is that what I thought when we had the options, when it came into the options market, when the ETFs were launched, is that we wouldn't see as much volatility within that underlying asset, and I don't feel that has been the case so far with the 50% pullback. I thought we would be holding up more because the Wall Street doesn't want that type of volatility, in my opinion.
All right, so this is Riot Platform's actual website right there, and their cost in 2023 to mine was $7,539, which drove our industry-leading low cost to mine full year 2023 to $7,539. So it always made sense for them. Anyway, we'll go to Adair.
I just want to tell you guys here about TECK. This is Tech Resources. This one popping higher. James Altucher with a takeover note on this one. Now, he publishes generally kind of merger acquisition related speculation or news. But basically what he's saying here is that insiders and institutional grade investors are, quote, pumping cash into tech, TECK, because of speculation involving a Glencore buyout. So again, not in and of itself a report of a buyout, but basically James Altucher is saying that investors are getting into this one because they do suspect a potential buyout from Glencore. Furthermore, comments from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Senate will be voting on the Iran War Powers Resolution tomorrow. Now, of course, anything with this Iran specifically changes with regards to the Iran situation could be big for the market, specifically oil.
That's going to be really interesting to see that vote go through. Did you see your boy Fetterman?
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, he's a senator from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
He's a Democrat, but sides with the Republicans a lot.
Oh, yeah?
And he was like pounding the table on his X about how his fellow Dems should be voting in favor of it. And so we'll see how much sway he has. So yeah, there's a couple of minute left on the show, Sia, so I think we'll end it. You can go one more, let's go.
Okay.
Let's just quickly cover this headline. Archer Aviation. ACHR has reported an EBITDA loss of $137.9 million on less than $1 million in revenue just for Q4. And Wall Street was expecting an EBITDA loss of $122 million with no sales, meaning that the losses have come in slightly heavier than the forecast. And Archer has planned to go and to begin with commercial services in the Middle East as of 2026. Wonder how this is going to be.
Thank you for that, Sia. FAA certification kind of is the gold standard here. We saw that with Joby, but we also saw no real positive price reaction for Joby once they got that certification. So you feel it's already kind of juiced in or priced into the stock. It's just really about how much it's going to cost them to get that certification, and that kind of remains the long-term value look for them. Let's see, higher than expected near-term losses. Of course, that this is very, very nascent. I do like how they're kind of like Joby. They're looking to go into the area in the Middle East specifically, where people like to spend money on these kind of extravagant, newer things, right? Middle East, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi, all those guys, they're loaded with money. Let's just cut the crap, okay? And they can spend on things like this. So they're looking to kind of have proof of concept there. That's kind of the same model that we saw with Joby. I don't know. I love the space. I'm very much aware of some of the restrictions. I think the Katina man brought up a good point the other day, and he's like, look, if they're only flying 4 of these guys, because the eVTOL that Joby was building, it's like 4 passengers and a pilot, let's call him that.
Yeah.
Well, then how much do they have to charge per seat? And what are the operating costs for this to be a good business?
For sure.
Otherwise, you're going to need a lot bigger of an aircraft, unless you're going to charge big money.
Absolutely. I think we're still in the early stages of this thing, right? Like you're getting the 4-seaters. I'm sure they'll come out with more 6-seaters and everything along those lines. So still extremely early stages in the technology. But I mean, it's still operating at a net loss as well. The margins on that are probably going to be relatively tight considering so. But again, it's going to take some time for this to really come into play, in my opinion.
All right.
I don't think we'll ever see that here.
All right, let's take a quick look at some of the small caps before we send it to the big boys. Let's see what's running and what's not. Turbine just got into the high of the day. TURB continues to move up. Multi-day runner here on TURB, 52.5% into 210. It's at the day high. So is MO.